Welcome back to the Isaac Abrams Show, everybody. I'm your host, Isaac Abrams. Today's very special guest, comedian, actor, writer, producer, and now first-time philanthropist, Jason Collings, is joining us to talk about his new podcast,
Unidentical, with my identical twin brother, David Collings.
Yeah. In this episode, we talk about his many adventures in comedy. We go a little inside baseball on green rooms, some of our favorite clubs, some of the best food that we've had on tour around the world, and I learned about mirror twins. So stick around, enjoy the episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Me and my brother signed a record deal, and when we were
really
to produce, we were producing hip hop music, which all it was computers. And back then it was 1989, 90, and we were producing hip hop music when I was and I had already had a kid, and I was in my relationship, but it was different back then. It was such a hustle, the internet wasn't there to show everybody what you're doing. And we signed this record deal, and I ended up producing some stuff for some artists, and the bad record contract, the label folded. I didn't get any money, but my one claim to fame, Forrest Whitaker, it was his directorial debut. He did a movie for HBO called Strapped, and I did several of the songs in the soundtrack. And if you watch the movie to this day, my name's in the credits for that. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but then,
that didn't come up on your IMDb.
No, it won't. But I don't know if anything comes up on that thing. I don't know. Do I have an
4
IMDb?
credits?
Yeah, but they're like, my friends did some projects and put my name on it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's all,
I think Mike Lenochi's one of them, and like Kayvon is one of them.
I don't know. I think I still have it pulled up if you really want to know what's on your IMDb.
I'd be very interested.
IMDb. If this is your January 11th is your birthday?
Yep.
This has for you.
I think the Tonight Show might be on there.
Oh, that's cool. I just clicked off of it. Rambo?
Yeah, that's a movie that Kayvon made. It was so dumb. It was called Rainbow, and it was basically a gay Rambo. That's I
funny.
Played like a grizzled sergeant that talked like this, that yelled at him and stuff. Yeah.
And then there's Conflicted. You were a TSA agent?
Yeah, I was TSA agent on that one.
And then something from the Laugh Factory. You play yourself in the Laugh Factory.
I don't know. Yeah, so some people put me on there. I don't really.
You also have a credit from 1973.
Yeah, that's real.
Child actor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Me and my brother played one person because they used to do that with twins.
Right. We do that all the time. Yeah.
It was in a TV show in the 70s called Emergency, based on the LA Fire Department.
Yeah.
And my brother and I were in an episode where we played a kid named Toby that was in a house fire and got jumped out of the fireman saved us by jumping out of the fiery window.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's.
Do you have that clip somewhere?
Yeah, I know the episode name. The TV show is called Emergency, and that episode was called Honesty. Yeah.
Do you ever talk about that on stage, being a child actor?
I wasn't a child actor. We did that.
That's it. That one time.
My parents my mom took me to a couple of auditions, and she was like, "Fuck this.
Yeah.
This is craziness, and I don't want if my sons want to choose to do this when they're older, fine, but I'm not dragging them to this." She said it was crazy time.
Yeah.
One commercial audition that they took us to was for a childproof bottle cap. And in the audition, they just give us the bottle, and me and my brother just opened it.
Like, you're out of here.
They're like, "Don't call us, we'll call you." Yeah.
Right.
Alaska's always in the winter.
I've never been there.
I've been there once last year. Same gig.
What's the turnout like?
It's pretty good. There's nothing to do there. So, and when I went in August, they have their version of Mardi Gras. They do like a Mardi Gras party at this place called, the venue is called Chilkoot Charlie's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like
great name? Yeah. It's like it's a huge bar with several giant rooms that have different things going on. Yeah. And this guy, they call him Coach. He's a great dude. He brings stand up out there. He flies you out, pays you well, puts you in a hotel, and you do a couple shows and you're out. And I went in August. And August was still chilly, but then I was like, there was a few days when I was just wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'd never been up there, and he took me to a wildlife thing where we saw bears, and it was great.
Is that the time of the year where it's like never nighttime?
It was never. No, I was there when it was two things. Yeah. It was day and night, but I'm not sure what this time of year is like because I've never. I mean, I'm going to be there January 12th.
Yeah, the day after your birthday.
It's going to be 13 degrees high, The high is going to be 13 degrees.
Wow.
Sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's so weird how as I get older, I'm like weird with weather. Like right now I'm sick of heat because I have an old house. It was built in like 1949 or 1950, and it doesn't have AC.
Oh.
And it doesn't have, good, what is it in the walls? The
heat, like the central heat?
Insulation.
Oh, gotcha.
Doesn't have good insulation. So during the summer, the house is an oven, and during the winter, it's an ice box.
Yeah.
But we have heaters and stuff like that. But yeah, next year I just said, screw it. I'm going to put in the central AC in that house because it's a great little house.
Yeah.
And I bought it in 2010.
Ah.
So it's like, I'm technically worth $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got $5 in my pocket, but hey,
yeah.
worth, baby.
That's right. Net worth is all that matters. Really.
So yeah, I'm at that grumpy, like it's too fucking hot. It's too cold. But the thing is, I'd rather be in the cold because you could put warm things on.
Right.
The heat, you're just screwed.
You can't take.
It's just
once you've taken all your clothes off.
Done.
That's it.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I live in Playa in a very old apartment.
Yeah.
And it only has AC in the bedroom, which is a loft. So fortunately, I don't get.
Is it a window
sun.
AC? Is that what's going on?
It's a window unit.
Oh, okay.
in the upstairs, like.
So it's not cooling the whole house down.
It does not cool the whole house, but I face the marina, so I don't get direct sunlight till sunset.
Oh, that's nice though.
So it doesn't heat up too hot.
So you're looking at the water?
I look at the marina. That's past the wetlands. So it's like 500 or 600 acres of wetlands, and then the marina.
That's cool.
Yeah, I stole it. I mean, it's
a nice area. Shit.
Once we got locked down, I was like, well, I'm done with the valley. I lived in the valley for 15 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was living right off of Chandler. And
where are you from originally?
I was born in Kingston, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, which was the headquarters of IBM, and then IBM moved their headquarters to Raleigh, North Carolina, in '83, and I moved to North Carolina.
Oh, were your parents working? Okay.
Yeah, IBM stands for I've been moved.
Yeah, Raleigh's nice.
It's nice now. Yeah, it's basically the Silicon Valley of the East Coast, like the Raleigh.
The improv there, I think.
The Raleigh Improv is located in Cary, North Carolina, which is
weird.
It is super weird.
It's like the Chicago Improv's not in Chicago. It's in Schaumburg. It's like an hour outside of Chicago.
Yeah, I have not been to that many improvs, but
yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah,
they're pretty much the same.
The Brea one is insanely large.
That one's. I love that one. Yeah. That Brea Improv, the original location, which is a few doors down, was the first club to give me a headlining date.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I fell into that one on accident. It was awesome because I was going there a lot, doing like shows for other people. And then me and the manager at the time kind of became friendly.
Yeah,
and he was great. And one night I'm there, and it was one of those show. I was there for some showcase show. And when I first started stand up, I would talk about my family a lot, and my wife is Latina, and my kids are full, and so a lot of these Latin promoters were always putting me on their shows, and I wasn't like pandering to Latino humor. I was just talking about my shit.
Yeah.
So I was at Brea Improv doing one of those kind of shows, and then I was hanging out afterwards, and the manager, Patrick, at the time, he's in his office, and he goes, "Damn, man, I got to fill Thursday. DL Hughley canceled."
Oh, shit.
I didn't have an hour. I mean, I had a decent 20.
Yeah.
And one of the servers, who was also buddies in that little circle, goes, "Just have Jason do it." I thought he was joking. The manager goes, "Oh, shit, do you want to do that?" And my dumb ass went, yeah. I want to be a headliner. You know, you always want to be a headliner when you're not ready to be a headliner. Yeah. And I was a mess the whole week before. My wife was getting mad at me because I was being a jerk because I was real nervous about the turnout. I'm like, what am I doing? No one's going to show. We pull up to the Improv, and there was a line down the street to get in. And I'm like, they don't know DL's not here.
Oh, no.
You know? But it wasn't that.
Oh, it wasn't DL
they were
fans?
Just there
Yeah.
for a show on Thursday night.
Yeah.
It was my first time headlining, and my best buddy, Brent Morin, was my feature. That's a lot of people don't know that because I toured with Brent when he kind of blew up.
Yeah.
I was featuring for him on the road.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that switched. And the reason Brent brought me out is because I did a lot of things for him when we were starting. Like I brought him on the road to feature for me a bunch. And so he, took me out, but Brent was featuring for me, and I can't remember who was hosting. It might have been, do you remember Tom Vrab?
No, I don't.
Bro, you can go down a rabbit hole on this kid. He just disappeared.
Really?
He was big. He got huge on Vine.
Oh, I got a lot of friends that got big on Vine.
And when I say disappeared, I don't mean his career disappeared. I mean
disappeared.
He disappeared.
Wow.
And no one can get a hold of him.
Yeah.
His girlfriend at the time would talk to everybody, say, just give him his privacy. And like, it became like she's keeping him prisoner. vibe.
Oh, shit.
And I'm the only one that can help him, leave him alone, and no one's seen him. And he was the funniest, sweetest guy, dude.
And he was doing stand-up.
He was doing stand-up. He was doing stand-up and sketch.
Yeah.
And he just blew up on Vine and then disappeared. But yeah, that guy would host and feature for me on occasion. But yeah, Brea was the first place to give me my headlining gig.
Yeah.
Cut to 18 years later, I get a date there last year, and it's at the new one. And I said to my buddy Russell Peters, I said, "Hey man, I'm doing." I said, in a conversation, we always have cigars, and in a conversation, I said, "I got a date at Brea," and he says, "Oh man, what's the date?" And I told him. He goes, "Ah shit, I think I'm out of town." I go, "Oh, are you gonna come do the show?" He goes, "Yeah man, I'll come down, but I'm gonna be out of town." I was like, "Oh, okay." Hits me up. He goes, "You know what? I was wrong. That's not the date. I'm out of town." I go, "Dude, come do a spot." He goes, "Nah, fuck that. Let me host it."
Holy shit.
I go, "Yeah?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll host it for you."
Yeah.
And I go, "Will you promote it?" He goes, "Fuck yeah." So the last time I did Brea Improv, our numbers were incredible.
Sold it out.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
thanks to Russell, man. That guy's done a lot for me, man.
If you guys don't know who Russell Peters is, first of all, you're probably not watching the show, but second of all, look him up and prepare to have your fucking jaw hit the ground.
Yeah,
Like,
it's ridiculous.
has he taken you with you like on the big international shit?
Oh yeah. In 2018 we did 4 weeks. We did 4 weeks across Canada, coast to coast across Canada, all basketball, hockey arenas. Like every show was an arena show. The entire trip we were on a private jet the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
And it was my first, that was my first experience with that level. Because pretty early on in stand-up, I got to experience a big giant venue because when I was like a 4-year, 5-year, maybe a 5-year, probably like 3 or 4 year comic, Carlos Mencia saw me at the Laugh Factory and brought me out on tour.
Wow.
And I did, which was one of his last big venue tours before kind of things settled for him. And so I had the experience of that, but not at the level of like, I think the biggest venue I did with Mencia was like 4,000.
That's insane.
Well, with Russell, we did 17,000. We did Russell sold out for like the 9th time where the Toronto Raptors play.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Did you guys do in the round, like in the middle?
It was just at one end.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I mean, there's pictures of me on the stage, and I'm sitting on a stool like I'm at the Improv,
right,
with a spotlight on me. It was quite an experience. And then halfway through that tour, he had asked me to go on the next leg, which was we did Africa, we did India, we did the Middle East, we did Bahrain, Muscat, Jordan, and then Dubai. We were the first act to perform at the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai, the newest arena there. We were literally the first act. So technically, and Russell said this to me, he goes, you're kind of historical for this venue. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you're literally the first person to perform at this arena.
Right, because I opened first. Yes. That's nuts.
So it was like, no fucking way. And we just have a blast. Yeah, he's become one of my closest buddies. He's just a good dude. He helps me out a lot. I mean, and it's nice for me because when I started stand-up, I was 35. I started stand-up at like 06. Okay. A lot of guys start when they're 18, 20s. I started doing this at 35 years old.
I love that.
So when I'm out with my peers and like so many of my comedy friends, most of them, they're all way younger than me. Like Brent Morin's
35,
14 years younger than me or something.
He's in his 30s still, right?
He's 37. 37, but and I was like, why do I get along with this kid so well? And I'm so much older. Well, he was raised by the same generation. His parents are actually older than my parents.
Oh, wow.
So he was raised by the same generation that I was raised by. So that we kind of figured that must be it, because he doesn't, he's just kind of an old soul, that whole that hacky thing.
Yeah.
And then, and me, him and Chris D'Elia, the three of us started together. And Chris is 9 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So when I'm hanging with Russell, who's older than me, it's like I got a big brother in comedy. And not only that, the experience of this man, anything he tells me is the gospel. Like
right.
He's never given me bad advice, because you get a lot of bad advice.
You do.
Guys never given me a bad advice ever, and he's not like most headliners. Like we just did in June. I'm born and raised in Long Beach. I was born in Santa Monica, but I was raised in Long Beach, California. And there's this huge theater there. It's called the Long Beach Terrace Theater. or the Long Beach Performing Arts Center. It goes by both.
Right.
It's a big, like Matt Rife just did it.
Yeah.
Burr's done it. Sebastian's done it. It's a big theater.
Famously shot special from
Pryor.
Yeah.
Rich Pryor did it. Yeah. It's great. I mean, to be able to do stand-up in that, and growing up in Long Beach, a field trip that we would do every year was we would go to this theater, see the orchestra. And I remember as a kid looking at the theater going, this place isn't, I want to do something here. Like as a kid,
right.
I had no idea what it was going to be. And so Russell gets the date and he calls me. He says, hey man, I'm doing Long Beach Terrace Theater and I don't want anybody else to open for me but you. This is your hometown. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So we do the gig, and I'd just done a special, and I'd just done 2 years on the road with him, and so I wanted to work on some new stuff. And he's like, "This ain't the place to do new stuff, man."
No,
but my new stuff was working at the clubs. Like it didn't feel like new stuff.
Right. So you're not running it for the first time.
No,
you're running it at a theater for the first time.
But I was nervous. I was nervous because I hadn't seen Russell because I was with him when he shot his last special before the one he just did. I opened for him when we did it in India. I was the opening act in India when he shot a special out there for Amazon. And I didn't know I hadn't seen him in a while, and I didn't know what he was doing as far as material, and I didn't want to step on toes. I was just nervous. And afterwards, my set was okay. I didn't crush. I crushed at the end because I went into some old stuff. And Russell, when I got off stage, he's like, "What are you doing? You killed when she went with the old stuff." I go, I didn't want to. I don't know what you're doing now, and I didn't want to step on your toes. And this is what he says, and you don't really hear a lot of headliners say this. He goes, no, dude, don't worry about me. How many headliners say that?
Yeah,
first of all?
I can't think of any.
Right?
Yeah.
And he says, your job is to fucking murder and make it hard for me.
Right.
It's my job to do my job. He goes, go up there and you murder in front of me. And I'm like, no fucking headliners wants this. And he's never had a problem with it. Every time he brings somebody on the road, they're fucking monsters. Yeah. Like lately, Quinn Dale? Quinn Dale is fucking hilarious. Quinn Dale, look him up. He has some of the funniest, borderline racist jokes that he gets away with because it's the way his delivery, and it's a joke, and you could it's not offensive.
Right.
He's a monster. He was married to a Latin woman and talks about that a lot, and but the jokes are just such funny turns. You know how Jesselnick has those turns where you're like, whoa.
You can never see it coming.
That's Quinn.
You're training yourself to try and guess every single fucking time, and you're always wrong.
That's Quinn. And I've known Quinn forever. Like he has one, he's like, yeah, he's talking about his Latin wife. He goes, yeah, she did the 23andMe to find out about her past. And we went back 10 generations all the way to 1995.
Wow.
And it kills.
Yeah.
It kills, dude. He has this joke where he's like,
I get it. 10 generations is 95. Yeah. Okay. Mexican. Slow burn for me. Yeah.
Then he has this one about answering machines. He goes, you call my house, and it's like, hello, leave a message. And then he said, you call Latino's house, and it was the same thing. He goes, and then you call a black guy's message machine, and it goes, doo-doo-doo. Sorry, this number's not
disconnected.
But he plays it on his phone. It's really funny. But he's a monster. He's open for him. I mean, name it. Like all these, a bunch of people have done the road with Russell. And that's another thing what I love about him is he doesn't keep just one guy.
Yeah.
He rotates it. And I just talked to somebody that just recently opened for Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, on the road. And Fluffy for years kept the same openers. But now he's doing this thing where he's rotating all these new guys. Yeah. And the guy that he was just out with, he was a buddy of mine, Jerry Garcia, said that Fluffy was like, I should have been doing this years ago. Yeah. And it's such a good thing to do for us. Like as guys that are below them, it's such an amazing opportunity. Yeah. Because we get treated amazingly on the road, and you're like, oh, this is what it could be like. Yeah. And a lot of guys, in my opinion, the mistake they make is they go, it must be nice. Like it'll never happen to them. Right. And you forget, Joe Coy, Russell Peters, Bill Burr, these are just people. They're not superheroes. Right. They're human beings. So when I look at that kind of shit, I go, it's possible. This can be done. Absolutely. Not like, no, I'll never get to that. I've never had that attitude ever. Yeah, Drew's the same way. So he's killing it. He's had Justin for like 7 years, but Justin's starting to get to the point where he's headlining. So he's rotating new guys in as features. Like if we go to East Coast, we have an East Coast guy. Midwest, we have some Midwest guys. Beautiful. But that's great for the local comics. Yeah, and then he'll have somebody pop in and do guest sets. Yeah.
but I'm always with him because I'm doing his camera stuff. But I'm meeting some features on the East Coast, and they're like, "Wait a minute, how long have you been doing comedy?" Which is basically like, "How good are you?" I hate that question, and I always lie and be like 15 years, but I'm only like 4.5 years in.
Are you?
Yeah. So I started when I was 39.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You're a person.
Yeah.
That's another thing you hear people say, oh, you'll find your voice. When you're a 39-year-old human, you've found your fucking voice already. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Because you show up with stories to tell. I mean, I showed up with kids and a family and this and that, So I'm not on stage as a 21-year-old going, so my cell phone the other, what? Who cares?
So I get a lot of shit because people are like, "Wait, you're using theaters to open mic?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm on the road 6 days a week. Like, I don't have time to do spots. I have to go home and fucking do laundry and get back on a plane."
Also, don't hate.
Yeah.
How do you get good at something? You fucking go to I did martial arts for years. My brother and I, we had several schools. We owned schools. We did a lot of martial arts. And I look at everything like a fight. If you're going to become a better fighter, you got to fight the guy that can kick the shit out of you. And you got to keep fighting him until he can't. And that's the thing with stand-up. These comics are weak. If they're going to these rooms, I'm going to just go to this room because I know I'm going to kill.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of a room. Go where you're not sure and keep going there until you kill there.
Yeah.
And then on. And so these guys are like, oh, you're open micing at this theater. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm open micing there. And it's in front of real people.
Right.
It's not a bringer. It's none of your friends. They're strangers. So that you got to do well.
I feel so uncomfortable going to mics or rooms in LA or any of the clubs here. But I feel at home at a theater because that's where I started.
Right.
So I started with Tim Dillon as his videographer.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then last year I was with the all year.
I love.
I'm going to bleep those names because doesn't like me clout chasing or dropping his name. Yeah, I'm going to bleep that too.
Okay.
Everybody knows. You can scroll back to my Instagram. But he used to go like, "You want to go out and do 5 tonight?" And I was chicken shit to do it with Theo, but I would like...
Theo's a buddy of mine, by the way.
Yeah. Good, great dude. I produced his pod for a little while.
Yeah.
Until he found a guy to do it. And
he's a fucking wordsmith, that guy.
Man. Insanely funny.
Yeah.
But it just feels weird to be like, oh, I can see everyone in the room, not like I can only see the third row.
Right.
And so theaters feel like home.
Yeah. And the thing is with open mics is what I tell a lot of younger comics is that go to these open mics, do them because it's the exercise of talking into a microphone and doing that.
Right.
But I'll never forget starting when I started stand up. I met a guy who was an open micer and I asked him how long he'd been doing stand up and he said 13 years. And I'm like, you're doing something wrong, either that or you're just afraid.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, it's a great exercise. Or just talking in front of people. Because most of the guys in the audience at an open mic aren't going to listen because they're just waiting for their turn to get on stage.
Right.
They're all haters, almost every single one of them.
Especially if you're funny.
Yeah, especially if you're funny, right. And so I tell them, do that for a little bit, but go hang out, meet people, talk to people, because you're going to meet people that run rooms. You're going to meet people that have a show at this night on that show, and then get into that. Do a bringer show for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's important to do your shit in front of strangers.
Right.
Do your shit in front of strangers.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to know if it works or not.
Yeah.
I never did open mics.
I have done very few.
I BS'd my way into stand-up.
Same.
Yeah, I lied my way. I was just with Jack Assador. You know who Jack is? That owns the Haha. We were together the other night at dinner, and he goes, "Do you tell this story on podcasts about how you lied to me?" I go, "Yeah, Jack, I do." Because what I did is I was running around with Joe Coy for like over a year, just going to every show, and yet to understand, Joe wasn't doing open mics. So my intro to comedy was, a fucking Friday night at the Laugh Factory, a Saturday night at the fucking Improv, and it's not just Joe on the lineup. It's Daniel Tosh, it's Dane Cook. So I'm like, this is what comedy is.
Killer.
This is what comedy is. I had no you up? No, I just hung around with him for like a year.
Yeah,
and then he met my dad. My dad passed away like a month after I started stand up, and Joe's the reason I just finally got the balls to do it because Joe met my dad one night because I was going to go to his show in Irvine. And him and my dad had a conversation when I wasn't in the room. And when we got in the car, Joe was like, "Bro, do you really want to do stand up?" And I go, "Yeah, dude, I always tell you that, lighthearted." And he goes, No. And it brought it down. I was like, he goes, Are you fucking serious, dude? Like really? And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, stop being a pussy and do it.
Wow.
Or your father may never have a chance to see you do it."
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. So the next day, I think it was, I went to the Haha Comedy Club. Back then it was called Haha Cafe.
Right.
Now it's the Haha Comedy Club.
It was a few blocks up the street.
Yeah. And I I didn't know how it worked. I thought I did. So me and my brother go to the club, and I go to the door, and the guy at the door goes, "Can I help you?" I go, "Yeah, I need to speak to the owner." I didn't know there was a guy whose job it was to book the club.
Right.
But I wanted to talk to the owner. He goes, "Okay." And Jack comes out, he's like, "Can I help you?" And they probably saw a white guy and they thought they were in trouble or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, my name's Jason Collings. I'm a comedian. I was with Joe Coy, John Lovitz, and Fraser Smith last night. And they told me that this is a great spot in LA that I could perform at." And he goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How long you been doing stand-up?" I said, "Dude, I never did it." I said, "I've been doing it for about 5 years now." "Really? And Joe Coy and Lovitz told you to come here?" I go, "Yeah." They said, "This place is great." What they really told me was go do the open mic at the Haha.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck that. Because I'm now questioning my mortality. I'm watching my father go, and I'm like, I don't have much time. You know, because, you know, and so Jack says, well, all right, we'll come back tomorrow. I'll put you on. And tomorrow was like a Friday or Saturday night actual show. And I show up. The guy running the show goes, "Oh, you're Jason Collings." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, you're going to do 15 minutes. Never done stand-up.
Wow.
Goes, "You're going to do 15 minutes. I'll light you at 12, and you're going third. Sweet spot."
Right. You don't know what any of that means.
Nope. And
you're like, got it.
Especially when he said, "I'll light you." I was like, light me. Cool.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, the hell is he talking about? Right?
Yeah.
So I go up and I'm doing my set, and I'm having a blast. I'm doing crowd work. I'm talking callbacks. You have to understand, I've been teaching large groups of people for the past 20 years.
Right.
And I always taught with humor. So that muscle was already exercised, commanding a room.
But comics won't give you credit for that time.
No.
It doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Bullshit.
So then the guy opens his flip phone at the time. It was back, and he starts doing this, and I'm like, "The fuck does that mean?" I didn't know. I was like, "Do I got a phone? What do I got? A phone call? Somebody calling me? What's going on?" Then it hit me. Oh, that's what he meant. That's the light. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I said, "Good night." Got a great response. I get off stage. A comedian named John Roy was right off stage, and I walk off, and he looks up and he goes, "Hey, how long you been doing comedy?" I said, "What time is it?" He goes, "Huh?" I go, "About 15 minutes now." And he goes, "That's not a true story." That's how he talked.
Yeah.
And then Jack, the owner, comes up and said, "Come back tomorrow. You're on the show tomorrow too." And I'd been doing stand-up ever since. Like 4 months in, I got my first main room spot at the Improv. And that got me seen by those guys. And then like within the first 2 years of comedy, my first weekend, like being able to do a whole weekend at a club was opening for Patrice O'Neill.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was me, Ian Edwards featuring, and Patrice hosting, and they gave me that gig at the Ontario Improv. And then the very next one they gave me was John Witherspoon.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I just kept going and then kept getting these spots. And then that thing happened at Brea where they headlined me out of nowhere when I shouldn't have been fucking doing it.
That fast? It
was
like a few months?
It was about the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe a year.
Yeah.
But you know, and then I just kind of grinded, and then because I met Dalia and Brent my first night doing stand-up because Chris was on the show, and he had only been doing stand-up for like 6 months. Really? And when I'm on stage, I can hear his maniacal laugh, and you've heard how he laughs. It's insane. Yeah. If you don't know him, you're like, this guy's fucking with me.
Right.
But it's his real laugh. And I hear this in the back, and I'm like, Jesus. And then he comes up and he goes, "Oh, what's up, dude? I'm Chris." I go, "I'm Jason." I go, "Are you a comedy?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm next." He goes, "You're so funny. Let's hang out afterwards." Like, all right. So then he goes up, and I'm fucking dying in the back of the room.
Yeah.
And then we go to a diner afterwards, and we did that for like 4 months. And then about 4 months into that, me and Chris are at the bar at the Haha, acting like we own the place. You know, we're still brand new guys.
Yeah.
And this young kid walks up, "Hey, man, can I hang out with you guys?"
It was Brent.
It was Brent Moore.
Yeah.
And I immediately made fun of his hat.
Yeah.
Didn't even know him. I said, "Yeah, cool hat, man. Yeah, stop being weird. Of course you can hang out with us."
Right.
And then I would make fun of his hat all the time. And then one day he shows up with no hat, and I go, "Ooh, you might want to wear a hat." He even tells that story.
People can say whatever the fuck they want to about Chris. My personal interactions with him, he's one of the most inclusive, kindest people.
Yeah.
I photographed him. So the way I got into comedy, I just started taking my camera to the clubs, and I was like, I'm shooting tonight for free. I shot 400 or 500 shows for free before anybody ever paid me. But I would tag Chris in the photos, and I would send them to him. Mark Hayes would help me get the pictures to him.
Right.
And eventually he just followed me. And then one night we're just hanging, and he's like, "We're going up to the green room. Do you want to come?" And I was like,
yeah,
fucking sure. And then all of a sudden I found myself hanging out with Dalia, Theo, Mark, and me at a table.
That little crew, right?
Yeah. And I was like, I've been watching these guys on TV for fucking 15 years.
Yeah, you got to understand, from my point of view, I watched it happen. Because like I said, I've known Chris since he was a 6-month comic. Like nobody knew who he was, you know? And then, where the heck is my other tie? Found it.
There you go.
And to watch that progression was pretty incredible. Like, and he was just, and people were like, it's because his dad doesn't. No, it's not. This motherfucker gets on stage and he's undeniably funny. Say what the hell you want to say about him.
Yeah. Or tell me what his dad's done.
Undeniably funny. Like, did his dad make him get that standing ovation?
Right.
No, Chris did.
His dad didn't write that set?
No, none of that shit. And I'll never forget when I knew it was going to happen. There was this show years ago. There was this show on Showtime called Live Nude Comedy, and I believe Whitney Cummings was one of the producers. And the hot girl from American Pie, that was the foreign exchange student. Yeah, she was the host.
Okay.
And this show was it was called Live Nude Comedy, and it was burlesque and stand up. And Whitney apparently fought for him to get on that show. Like they didn't know who the fuck he was.
Right.
Kid gets a standing ovation, and he's the only one that did. And it just snowballed from that. And people love to say, it's because his dad's... Nah, man. Funny's fucking funny.
Funny's funny.
Because there's a lot of comics out there whose dads were somebody, and they suck.
Yeah.
And they suck.
There's a lot of actors out there trying to take up stage time doing comedy right now, too.
Ooh, yeah.
They can sell tickets once.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go see the guy from Entourage one time.
And they go, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
I mean, I'm going to cut that out, but...
yeah.
Jeremy's a fucking sweet guy. I don't mean to talk shit about him. I'm regurgitating shit I've heard from other comics about him.
I've been on a few shows with him. Good dude. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way once, but
yeah,
you know, it's like he could have been having a bad night. You've been around like I've been around. You're like something else. Like I've chilled out on road rage because of that. If some guy cuts me off and he's speeding, I go, maybe there's an emergency.
Right.
Maybe he needs to get somewhere now.
Maybe I'm not going to let that affect my day.
Right.
Yeah. The thing that you pulled at the Haha, I pulled at the Comedy Cellar in New York.
Nice. So, oh my God, I want to crack that.
I mean, I had done the Beacon for I think it's the New York Comedy Festival with Tim. I was his videographer. I walked 73 blocks from the Beacon to the Cellar. I texted Joe DeRosa. He was like, I'm not coming out tonight. Then I texted Josh Adam Myers. He's like, I'm on stage, or I'm about to go on stage. Meet me outside.
Josh was already out there at this time?
Yeah, he was already out there. This is 2 years ago, last month.
Yeah.
So I'm standing outside, and this short little lady walks out, and she goes, who the fuck are you? And I was like, my name's Isaac. I just did the Beacon with Tim. She's like, Dylan? And I was like, yeah. She's like, what the fuck are you doing out here? Get inside. Walks me to the bar. She goes, anything he wants, it's on me.
Who is this?
I don't remember her name.
Was she older?
No.
It wasn't Esty, was it?
It wasn't Esty.
Okay.
I fucking would have shit myself if it was Esty. I ended up meeting Esty the next night.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm having a beer, and she's like, I think I can throw you up. Do you want to do some time? And I'm like, I'm so tired from the show.
Shit.
I'm not going to go up tonight.
I would have been like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, looking back, I'm like, fuck, I should have gone.
Yeah.
I should have gone up. But now I feel like I can just walk into the cellar. I can't.
That's amazing.
But like,
yeah, I've showcased for her. She liked me.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I was doing Gotham that whole weekend. It was pouring fucking rain. And I got off, and it was doing 2 shows a night. So I got off stage from the first show, jumped in a cab, booked it down to the Cellar, walked in soaking wet. I go, I'm here for my showcase set. They're like, all right, Esty introduced me. I go up, I'm wet. I get shocked by the microphone.
Oh, shit.
Nobody noticed it, but I was like, holy shit. And I did 5 minutes after. There's this dude there that's so fucking good, gay guy. He's got
Mateo.
I had to follow him after he murdered the goddamn room, turned that shit upside down, and he did like 20. And then I go up with my little 5-minute showcase set, and that was a little rough at first, but I got him.
Yeah.
But everybody told me the fact that she stayed in the room, greeted you when you got off stage, and said, we'll see you again, was a great sign. I was like, all right. It doesn't make sense. She said it didn't make sense for me to be past there at this point because I don't live out there.
Right.
She said it makes more sense in Vegas because I'm a 4-hour drive from that. But yeah. It's crazy because I'm a paid regular at Gotham. I'm a paid regular at New York Comedy Club. I got up. The strip likes me, and so it was like I want to crack that. And it's like this. It's like the Comedy Store of the East Coast,
right?
You know?
Yeah. Where is the Cellar in Vegas? What venue is that in?
It's at Rio.
Is it Rio?
Yeah, off the strip.
Yeah, because when you're sitting at the bar near the comics table in New York, all the feeds are going, and you can watch.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's got the Vegas feed in it too.
No shit. Yeah, it's a good gig. They do 3 comics, 20 minutes each or something.
Yeah.
They all make great money, put them up. It's great.
My buddy Justin Foster, I think we talked about before we started rolling, he's been doing Brad Garrett's club.
That's my spot, dude. That's my home club in Vegas. I'm there.
Really?
I headline that club. I headline there twice a year.
But that headlining is only 30 minutes, right? Because it's 20, 20, 30? Or is it 20, 20, 40?
It depends on who's there.
Yeah.
In other words, when I headline, I do 45.
Okay.
However, if Brad's hosting, it could be like 20, sometimes 15.
Yeah.
Because he goes up between each comic and does a long time, which, hell, it's his club. And he's great. And but it doesn't change the money.
Right.
You know, it's almost like, this is the easiest money I've ever made. I just worked for 15 minutes. But when it's like just a regular host feature headliner, I do 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin said he got off stage and his phone rang. It was Brad. He watches from home.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, you know.
Yeah.
This is for the audience. And he was like, hello? This is Brad. He's like, great set, man. We want to have you back in January. And just fucking hangs up the phone.
Brad is like best.
Yeah. I worked with him on a promo for a sitcom that didn't go after Everybody Loves Raymond. It was like one pilot that just didn't happen.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. Yeah. He takes really good care of us. He's just so... He makes things... Because, you know, he's a legend. And I'm still at the point, almost 20 years later, that I still get a little nervous around legends. You know? And he's just one of the guys. When you're in the green room, he's just one of the guys.
Just hanging.
He did my podcast.
Oh, shit.
He did talk about how nice this man is. So we had him on. I used to do a podcast called The Lion's Den with Brent Moore. Yeah. And we did it at his house. We built our own little studio or whatever. And we just didn't have great lighting. Okay? We just didn't have great lighting.
Right.
So we have Brad on as a guest Zoom. And it was still pretty close to a pandemic. So he was still like, I'm not going anywhere. But we had him on Zoom in the entire episode. He shit on our lighting. But in the best, funniest, ball-busting Don Rickles type of way. Yeah. Just the greatest guy. And we had a great fun time. And then we said, all right, thanks, guys. Good night. And then Brad goes, hey, before I get off, Brent, what's your address? And Brent's like, oh, didn't think of it. A week later, brand new studio lights were sent to the house.
That's awesome.
He bought our studio lights.
That's great.
It was the best thing.
Yeah.
Best thing. Got me and my wife into one of the Cirque du Soleil shows because she came out on our anniversary.
Oh, that's cool.
Just a good dude. He'd bonus you anytime. And like, he's such a cool guy.
I can't wait to do that club.
Yo, it's in my opinion the best one in Vegas.
Really?
It's not the biggest one.
Right.
But when I say best one, I'm talking setup of the room, treatment of the comics, pay, the way they take care of you. It's really, really good spot.
I'm doing Vegas in January with Drew, and we're at the Mafia one, the Goodfellas. I think it's Goodfellas.
Bellagio?
I don't know where it is.
The Mafia one. It's a club or
I think it's called. Hotel? I think it's the club is called Goodfellas. The comedy club is called. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what.
The ones I know about are Goodfellas, Wise Guys.
Wise Guys.
Oh, the new one. The new one's great. You're
I think
it's
the new one. Yeah,
it is because the downtown ones, Drew wouldn't. That wouldn't be where they would have him. They would definitely have him at the new club, and it's from everything I've heard about this club, Wise Guys. It's awesome. It's in Town Square, up near closer to like the nicer area, where the other club, the other Wise Guys, is downtown.
Like old Vegas downtown?
Yeah, like where Pawn Stars and all that shit is.
Yeah.
But this club, I've heard nothing but good things because, you know, Wise Guys Salt Lake City is arguably one of my favorite clubs in the country.
Right.
Like
I hear that
Keith
a lot.
Stubbs does a great job.
I hear that, and then Comedy Works in Denver is like everybody's two favorites.
Don't forget, you're going to hear a lot about Comedy on State in Madison, Wisconsin. That club is fire. It's in my top 3. I think my top 3 are that one, Denver Comedy Works, and DC Improv is a blast.
Oh, I've heard a lot about DC Improv. That's where Chappelle got his start.
Yeah. It's a great room.
Nuts.
Great room.
I haven't been there yet.
It's a great. You haven't been to the city of DC or that club?
Oh yeah, I've been to DC a million times.
Yeah, you're an East Coast guy.
Yeah. I actually have a bit about pulling into the Pentagon October of 2001 to check my map with no registration and an expired license.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Did they descend quickly?
They did. And
wow.
I take the bit into like, well, I'll just go inside and get my driver's license renewed. And like, it's not the goddamn DMV, it's the Department of Justice.
Right.
So
wrong building, buddy.
Right. Yeah. I love Wisconsin though. It's
best cheeseburger I've ever had was out there.
At that club?
No, it's this restaurant in the little square area there where the Capitol is there in Madison. And it's just so good.
Yeah. The first club that I ever got to perform at was in the Mall of America, the House of Comedy.
Been there, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is always going to be my favorite club. And it's the number one club that I hear people shit on. because the ceilings are too high.
It's interesting. Yeah. I never, no, I did a guest spot there. This was a cool, like I said, Delia, Brent and I, we were all like newbies together.
Yeah.
And we all kind of made a career. And I'll never forget, years later, Brent was headlining that club. And Chris and I happened to be at the theater there that same weekend, and Chris said, let's stay an extra day and just hang out with Brent.
Right.
So the three of us just hung out in Minneapolis. Was it?
It's like right near the airport. Yeah.
And so Brent said, come to my show tonight. So me and Chris did guest spots on Brent's show at that club.
People must have lost their shit.
We were having a blast.
Yeah.
And because we're shitting on each other and like heckling each other like we used to do at the Ha Ha. I used to run a room in Long Beach. There's this venue in Long Beach called the Gas Lamp, and they would do comedy nights. That was my room. That was my room. And when I was running that room, I had fucking Joe Coy, I had Chris, I had Craig Robinson, and this was years ago.
Yeah, people must have lost their shit.
Oh, we were having a blast. But it was still, when these guys were still kind of coming up. Joe was the shit. Craig, everybody knew who Craig was, but and we would just whenever, we were such bullies to Brent. And he tells everyone, he goes, that's why I'm a good comic. Because you get these comics these days, they're really soft and they get their feelings hurt so fucking easy. And when Brent will bust someone's balls and they get their feelings hurt, he's like, oh, you have no fucking idea what ball busting is. I had this like tactical light, police light. And so whenever Brent would go up, like less than a minute into his set, I would go pew, right in his eyes.
Oh no.
And Chris would be booing.
That's hard to deal with.
Oh, it was a blast though. Yeah. And we had this, it had a rail. For some reason, the stage back then, it was like a balcony and had a fucking rail, like a fence almost. And I remember I was like, I got to do it. I'm booking Brad Williams.
Oh no, dude.
He gets up and he's like, you motherfucker.
Did he have to like stand on the stool or something?
It was awesome. It was like, there was like a riser for drums or something. He got up there.
Yeah.
And then Chris used to do this thing where the mic stand would fall down, but he used his foot, and it was so cool the way he would pick it up. And Brent tries it on stage, and the mic comes up and hits him in the fucking face. Dude, it was such good times, man.
That mic trick, like the mic stand trick, like if you're not a musician, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna knock yourself the fuck out.
It's crazy. Yeah. I would never do it. No. I would just go, I'm gonna bend down and grab this thing. But yeah, those days, no social media.
No.
There was none of that. We just had to be funny, and it was just so fun. God, it was so fun.
Yeah, that was. It still kind of a little bit feels like I mean, funny's funny, and you're gonna progress if you're funny.
Yeah.
But like the catapulting of your career that you get when you find a television show and get exposed to a mass audience is like you watch guys go from like 200 tickets to like, oh, I'm in a theater this weekend. We're doing 2 shows. Yeah. It's like fucking crazy.
And it's almost, but the thing is that was like the way when I started. You get yourself to Just for Laughs. Somebody sees you. You come home with a television deal. That's why we always built our set around a show idea. Like I always talked about having, because I was a young father. Like my sons are 29 and 34.
Wow,
that's how old my kids are right now. Yeah. So I would talk about that, and they're Latino, and so people were like, "That's a TV show. That's a show." So when I did Just for Laughs, I got all these fucking meetings. It was insane. Everybody in Hollywood wanted to meet with me. I had meetings with every major network. And 2013 was a year of the pendulum swing. And the pendulum swing back then wasn't social media or anything like that. It was diversity, which Hollywood needed. But Hollywood is amazing at overcorrecting.
Right.
So I went from every meeting everyone. My manager going, at the very least, you'll get an agent, I didn't even get an agent. 2013, and you got to understand, 2013 was my year. I got invited, paid, and flown out to do Just for Laughs. I didn't go New Faces, none of that.
Montreal or Toronto?
Montreal.
Shit.
The big one.
Yeah.
And it was like the shit. And that same year I did The Tonight Show. That same year I did BET Comic View.
Who was hosting The Tonight Show?
Jay Leno. I was one of the last
Still
guys.
with Jay?
I was one of the last guys.
Wow.
Still with Jay, yeah. I did that. 2013, I did BET Comic View 2013, and I got my name on the wall at the Comedy Store, all in 2013. I'm like, I'm gonna be the shit. And I sold my business because I owned a martial arts school at the time.
Right.
Sold that, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it. And it just went, ooh, just leveled out.
Yeah.
And it was all of a sudden, my manager's like, no one cares about a middle-aged straight white guy. And I was like, what? I go, but I'm funny. And they're like, doesn't matter. Not right now, it doesn't. And I'm like, all right. So then I just kept busting my ass and working, and then I overcame that, and it just became about funny again, and now it's back to how many followers you got.
Right.
It's another thing, and that's the shit I'm learning now. As a 52-year-old man who started stand-up before that was a thing, and the only box you had to check was funny. It's the last box now.
Oh, yeah.
It's the last box. I don't know if you've seen some of these people that are on Netflix right now. Every box is checked except one, in my opinion.
Funny. Yeah.
So it's a whole different game. But the good news on that, the other side of that is we do live in an era, I mean, look at this, where you build your own shit.
Yeah.
You make your own shit. If you get 5 brand new iPhones, you can make a special.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Somebody actually shot a special at the West Side Comedy Club with
iPhones?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I forgot it was. He was
West Side New York or here?
Here.
Oh, okay.
West Side Comedy. That's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. Gorbos, Chris.
Yeah.
You got a great room, buddy.
Yeah, put me up. He invites me to photograph there all the time. I'm like, can I get a spot?
Does he send you just ask him for the avails email.
Oh, I should do that.
Yeah, he sends it. You just kind of tell him what dates are available.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to start playing LA more.
Yeah, LA is an interesting. It's a monster in itself. Like New York is a thing. I'll never forget the first time I ever performed in New York. I was so nervous because you think, ooh, New York. This is again before social media. It was just comedy, and like, oh shit, am I gonna suck in New York? Because that's where the comedy god, dude.
It's all tourist.
I'm gonna say this, and New York viewers, you might get mad. Those are the fucking easiest crowds I've ever fucking done.
Yeah.
I destroy in New York, and the first time I ever did it, I was literally the only comedian to take the microphone out of the mic stand and move around the stage.
Really?
Yeah. It was all these New York guys like, you ever fucking notice that the subway's bullshit or whatever they're talking about? And I did great. I looked over, this girl was crying, and I'm like, holy shit, I just cracked New York.
Yeah.
And now, since then, I've gone there so many times, and Chris Mazzilli owns Gotham. He's actually a buddy. He's a good dude, and like I have a blast every time I'm there, and it's not. I have a harder time in LA.
Yeah.
You know, before the change in everything, the Comedy Store original room was literally one of the hardest rooms in the world. It's fucking cake now because it's such a iconic room and mecca that the crowds are just so happy to be there, you know, and it's so famous and like that. But yeah, I mean, LA is a trip. I have a buddy of mine came out just recently, and he's like, I think he left with the tail between his legs. He's like, I can't do LA. I mean, it's not you in LA, in anywhere, but the coasts, LA and New York, you have to be undeniably funny.
Right.
There are people that aren't, that are getting shit because of social media and numbers, and at the end of the day, this is all a business. You know, there's a few people that I'm just shocked by.
That's what surprises me the most is the number of comedians that don't treat it like a business. Like I came at it from the business side first.
Right.
I was like, what do all successful comedians have? They have a podcast.
Right.
So I'm going to start a podcast studio. I'm going to have that making money.
Yeah.
Because if I quit my film career, I can't live off of feature pay. And in my head, I'm starting as a feature, right? I'm not micing, I'm not hosting, I'm starting as a feature. And then I found out what starting headliners make, and I was like, oh, I can't even afford to start as a headliner.
Right.
So I was trying to build up this business. That ended up not working out, but like I found my way in through videography, and I think that's...
Yeah. And this is dope.
I love it here. It's a fucking fortune to maintain it, but it's we just monetized last January, so we're making $2 a day now.
Sweet, dude. You're buying lunch.
That's right. Yeah. Or cigars.
Oh, I'm a cigar guy.
Yeah.
Are you a cigar guy?
Drew just got me into cigars.
I didn't know Drew was.
Drew has a sometimes when we're home, Sunday cigar hangs in I'm not going to say where, but in the Valley.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, Drew's a good dude.
Yeah.
Him and I go way back. He's such a sweet guy. He's a big dog guy. He loves his dog. And I lost a dog a year or so ago that was my everything, this dog Jack. And I just kind of posted a small thing on Instagram. Rest in peace, miss you, buddy. And Drew made it a point to come up to me at the Laugh Factory and give me a big hug and say, dude, I'm so sorry, man. That's rough. And it was just such a sweet thing. And I could tell this is a real gesture. This guy gets it.
He lost his at about the same time.
I remember.
Yeah.
And it was, it's heartbreaking. People don't remember. You know, a lot of parents get angry. Oh, don't call your dogs your kids. Listen, I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And guess what? I got 2 more now because I have these 2 Frenchies.
Yeah.
Who, if anything happened to these dogs, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
One of them's sick as hell right now because she got into my son's weed.
Oh.
High as shit. This dog is so
Yeah.
fucking high. For 3 days now, she's just been. And now I'm wondering if she's like permanently brain damaged. Because physically she's okay now, but now she's kind of like, whoa. She had a barking issue where she barked a lot. She hasn't barked in the last 3 days. So I'm like, maybe that's
the cure for barking.
This is a
It's
good
weed.
thing.
Yeah.
My son told me once, weed cures everything.
It could.
Yeah.
Have your dogs met Dean Del Rey's French Bulldog?
No, Dean has 2 now.
He has 2 now?
Yeah, he adopted another one.
Wow.
Not yet. Bugsy's awesome. Bella's amazing, but Bella's a little sketchy with other dogs. Like because I just adopted her like just over a year ago.
Okay.
My wife saw her on Instagram and was like, "This dog's 7," and they gave her up. What's going on?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I went over there and I got her. I have a whole bit about it that I talk about on stage. And that our friend Molly, she's always giving me a hard time. She's like, "I'll come see you tonight, but can we not talk about French Bulldogs?" I was like, "Fine, I'll do other shit just for you."
Right. She's telling you what set to do.
Yeah, exactly. But so when she first came to the house, Bella, she tried to kill Bugsy. She wanted to kill him. She was like trying to bite him and kill him. And then I figured out how to. Now they're great. They get along great. Right. But whenever she sees another dog, she's got, like wants to go after the dog. And who knows what happened with this other 7 years where these other people that just gave her up. They made up a bullshit lie. I think because when I went to get her, because she was advertised on Instagram. I talk about this on my set. And when I go to get her, I go, "I'm here for that French Bulldog." And they're like, "That dog's not available to the public." And I'm like, "Dog was on Instagram. Instagram never lies."
Right.
But they're like, "No, this dog, I don't know. They said one of their volunteers may have jumped the gun and done that because the dog's quarantined because she had a bite on her record." And I'm like, "What?" Because I have a Frenchie. I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, she apparently bit a child and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "I don't know." So then I get her. I save her. It took me a month because they wouldn't let me. They said, "We will only release her to a rescue."
Right.
Because of the bite.
I've heard this bit.
Right.
Yeah,
so then I made myself the rescue. It took me a long time. And I did
all the paperwork.
Did everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So but now I'm the rescue for this dog.
Yeah.
And I say on stage, I go, "So I'm the Innocence Project for French Bulldogs." So I get her and immediately I was like, "I'm taking her to a vet to make sure she's okay." And the vet goes, "This dog has had so many litters." And you really can't tell because her stomach doesn't hang down. Her nipples are a little bit. Yeah. And I'm like, these motherfuckers were using her to sell French Bulldogs, and when she was done, they were done with her.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks. And I could tell by her behavior at my house that was probably an outside dog, which Frenchies aren't.
No.
Frenchies are very dependent on us, and they want to be next to you and in the house and not alone. They're not good dogs alone.
Yeah.
They are very attached to their people.
I lived with a Frenchie for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he didn't like me, but he would jump up on the couch, look at me, rip a fart, and then go running down the hallway.
That's the thing about French Bulldogs. If you're thinking about getting a French Bulldog, be ready. These are the most flatulent animals on the planet, and the smell is deadly.
It's rancid.
And they're constantly just tooting. The dogs will just be sitting there and just like long. I'm like, me and Elaine, my wife Elaine, laugh. They crack us up constantly. We'll be sitting there watching TV. And both of them will just start and they back like, are they communicating with their assholes?
Do they look at you when they fart? When they smell their fart, they look at you like it's your fault?
After.
Yeah.
I'm like, wasn't me.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa. Yeah. Did you fart, Dad?
It's so funny.
Yeah. Love them.
So we're coming up on an hour, but I think the first 10 was just like kind of riffing.
Dude, this is fun.
I have a little gimmick that I do where I play Would You Rather. Do you know?
Oh, I do that. We do that we did it on the Lions Den, and we're doing it on Unidentical.
It's so great for engagement and clips.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
and then
so
the
fun.
question that I close with, I don't have it written down. I don't know why I flipped the page, but that I'll ask you in a bit is, what's the best meal you've ever had in your whole life? But we'll end on that.
Okay.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 Would You Rathers.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Would you rather save the world but die as a hero, or save the world but nobody knows?
Second one. Save the world but nobody knows.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's why. Because I've saved it. And I want to be around to see everybody happy about it.
Right. So you walk around knowing that you saved everybody's life.
But I'm going to tell everyone.
Right. So no one.
I know you guys don't know this, but this is because of me. We're here because of me, and they'll be like, "All right, you fucking homeless weirdo."
It doesn't say you can't tell everybody. says no one knows yet, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to die to save the world, if it was a requirement, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would too.
Yeah. I'm 53. I've been here long enough. I'm
Good
just kidding.
run. 44. I've seen some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Would you rather be allergic to babies or allergic to old people?
Shit. Baby. No, old people.
I'm going babies.
Why?
You've
never had a baby.
I've never had a baby.
Babies are the cutest thing on the planet. And whenever you're with a baby, they smell amazing. Babies' little heads always smell great. And I would hate to be able to have to go, and just start sneezing after. But I don't want to smell an old person's head.
Old people don't cry on airplanes.
Sometimes they do. I do.
Maybe. That's true.
Old people don't cry on airplanes, but they will make you late as fuck because they take long doing everything.
And they always sit in the front.
Always in the front. First. And but what what reason would I need to get close enough to an old person to have an allergic reaction? There's so many reasons to get close to a baby. Yeah, I'll hold the baby. And then you have your own. I'll change the baby.
I won't. I'm not holding your baby. I got 9 nieces and nephews. I don't know if I'm ever going to have kids. I mean, I'll probably have.
Neither one of mine were planned.
Yeah.
But
I just don't want to be an old dad. I'm 44. I just want to start now.
People always ask, when are you going to try for that daughter? I'm like, I'm 52. My wife looks like she's in her 30s, but she's 50. Mm-hmm. If we had a kid now, we'd be in our 60s with a 10-year-old.
Yeah. No,
thank you. We'll be that out-of-touch parent, where the kid goes, hey, I'm going to go next door to my friend's house, and they're down the street, in a meth. I don't know.
I'm going to adopt an age-appropriate kid when I get married.
Yeah?
So, if all my other kids have 7, 8, 9-year-olds.
You're going to get a 9-year-old?
I'm going to go get me a 9-year-old.
Oh, man, you're going to have some baggage with that one.
Whatever, I'll get 2 of them. I'll get twins.
You're going to have a fucking 9-year-old with a goddamn history.
Yeah. But it'll be like I didn't even skip a beat. It's like I had kids when I was supposed to have kids.
Oh, that's funny. And you don't have to change diapers?
Nope.
You don't have to feed them?
Life goal to have never changed a diaper when I check out.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah. There's, especially when they got a dick boy. I had 2 boys. Mm-hmm. I would have to put them in a sink sometimes because as soon as you get that diaper off, their spouts just pees everywhere. Wow. Yeah. I've been pissed on. I've been shit on.
Yeah.
And then they have those shits that blow up out of the back of the diaper up their back. It's crazy, dude.
Wow.
It's crazy. You have to have such a strong stomach when you are raising children.
Yeah, I don't know if I have.
I barely did. It's crazy. And then your house always smells like a diaper genie. Diaper genie is this machine that you put the diaper in and it folds it and puts it in a little trash thing for you.
Oh, wow.
And it's got a scent, so it disguises the shit.
Yeah.
And my house was always just smelled like diaper genie and Similac.
Yeah, and you don't sleep. I already don't sleep. I have sleep apnea. So I think you have about 20 years built into your normal brain of not sleeping, and I think that's for raising children.
Dude,
every 2 hours. 2 hours.
Every 2 hours, my sons were up. Every 2 hours. And Chris told me when Calvin was born, he's like, bro, this kid's perfect. He sleeps all night. I was like, you fucking cheater. Yeah. You got away with skipping that. What I would do, though, and it was pretty fucked up, is my wife, the babies were breastfeeding. So when they woke up in the middle of the night, I'm like, I don't have anything for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take care of that and then just go back and sleep. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm probably destined to have kids now. Probably fine. I could probably get a call this afternoon. Hey,
Dad.
What? Yeah. Old people. All right, so we disagree on that one, but that's okay. Would you rather be in the top 1% of attractiveness or be in the top 10% of intelligence?
Top 10% of intelligence.
See, I have a problem with that.
Because I could figure out how to be attractive.
That's true.
Yeah.
But does that mean there's still 9% of people that are smarter than you?
Yeah, but that's not a lot.
I mean,
there's 1 billion people here.
Don't you already feel smarter than most people already?
I don't feel it. I know that I am. Yeah. I'm pretty positive that I am.
Right.
And I know that I'm definitely not any kind of top percentile of attractiveness.
Yeah. So I think if you're attractive enough.
Yeah, but if you're an idiot. Oh, it doesn't say you're a moron.
Right.
You know what? Yeah. I'm on the attractive side.
Yeah, then you can also be as smart as you are now, just better looking.
Yeah. I could be an attractive. I don't need to be an attractive electrical engineer or whatever the fuck, bioscience or whatever. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Attractive.
I want to be attractive as well, so I could sell tickets and get a Netflix.
Boom.
Special.
There you go. Yeah. The prettier, the more tickets. Come on.
That's not a specific dig at Matt Rife, but it's a specific
Who I love,
dig.
by the way.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Love him to
But
death.
God damn it, he's pretty.
Yeah, dude. Every time I'm in the gym and I'm like, I don't want to do another rep. I'm like, Matt Rife would do another rep.
So I've known Matt since he was unattractive because attractive adults sometimes are weird looking kids.
Yeah.
And Matt will tell you that. But I've known him since he was pretty young, and like he would always because I would bring my son around. Him and my son are the same age, and he was always tell my son, "You need to be hanging out. Why are you hanging out with your dad, dude? You need to be hanging out with me." And then me and Matt Rife ended up doing some sketch together where I played his dad, and then for a while there he would call me dad. That's my comedy dad, right? And then he met my wife one time, and he said, "Oh, you're my comedy mom." It was really cute. All these years later, my wife hits me up. She's like, "Do you know who Matt Rife is? The girls at work keep asking if you know Matt Rife." And I go, "Babe, you know Matt Rife." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Remember that kid that used to call me his comedy dad and he would call you mom?" He goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, a little skinny kid with scruffy hair." And I was just quiet. And she goes, "No, that's him." I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, you grew up." Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you had to glow up.
But no, I can't get you tickets to Matt Rife.
Nope.
No one can. I don't even know if Matt Rife can get you tickets to Matt Rife.
We're chasing him around the country right now. He's either 2 days before us or 2 days
It's
after
incredible
us.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
My buddy John Campanelli, New York comic, was doing a lot of dates with him, and he said it's pretty insane.
I thought John was. I guess the last time I saw John was in L.A., so I thought he was an L.A. guy.
He was, but he's been back in New York for like a few years now.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
And but he comes in and out because he has a show that he'll do every once in a while in the lab at the improv here.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't get them tickets, baby, and they're not cheap.
Nope. Neither is the merch.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
He's crushing. I got to read this one real quick. Oh, this one's going to be pretty interesting. Would you rather instantly have a 4-year college degree and all of the knowledge that's included, or $100,000?
Depends on what the degree's in, really, right?
Right. I think you can pick.
If I would pick a degree in something because I'll have all the knowledge that I can make way fucking more than $100,000 instantly.
Right.
I think I'm going to go with the degree and the knowledge.
Yeah.
Because $100,000 today,
Yeah.
that'll get you through maybe a year.
Right. But if you invest it the right way.
But if I had the degree in my chosen profession, I'd already know how to do that other stuff. I'll make $1 into $1 million.
Right, but you can't get a degree in comedy, right? So what are you going to get your degree in? Like producing movies or like if I think that pays if you get like
theater arts. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Communication.
Yes.
I think if you got like a cinematography degree, which is like $500,000, I think that'd be worth it because then you just go start shooting big movies.
Boom, there you go. Yeah.
And you're making like.
But I think the degree
over
because again, $100,000 is. And I'm not smart enough because I don't have the degree to turn that $100,000 into something else.
I would just flip.
You know what that $100,000 would turn into? A car. I would just buy a car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could turn $100,000 into $10,000 real fast.
Yeah, really fast. Really fast.
We had a Would You Rather a couple weeks ago that was: would you rather triple your salary or win the lottery and spend it all in one day?
I watched that episode.
Yeah, and I went fucking lottery one day, and my two buddies were like, "You're an idiot." But I don't want to work. I don't want to go to a job.
But what do you do after the one day?
You sell all the stuff you bought in the first day.
Boom.
Yeah.
See? I think I remember agreeing with you on that one.
And everybody's like, there's all these idiots in the comments that are like, you can't close on a house in one day. I'm like, there's an asshole tax for everything.
Everything. Money talks.
Yeah. If you go, okay, that's $1 million house. I'm giving you $2 million for this house. We have to close right now. You'll find a way to close it.
Those people aren't going to go, no, we'll wait for the 30-day escrow. No. You're in that
They will hand
house.
you the deed.
Yeah. Oh, that's a $100,000 car? I will give you $150,000 for it right now, cash.
Right. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, here's the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the title.
Exactly.
They'll figure it out.
I think I'm with you on that one.
I think I'd take the $100,000 because I didn't go to college in the first place, so I'm not going to go back.
You're not going to agree
now.
with me on the $100,000 thing, huh?
I'm going to take that $100,000 and flip it and put it in something and maybe lock it away for a couple of years and hopefully it blows up. Maybe some.
I'm going to be richer than you.
Probably. Yeah. Or I take the $100,000, I go straight to Facebook advertising, and I blow up all my channels with advertising money.
Oh, and now you're making crazy money.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of stuff you can do with $100,000.
That's right.
That's a tough one. These would you rather's are always tough.
They are. And no one ever agrees or disagrees the way you think they're going to agree.
Right.
Everybody comes at it from some weird angle. And
Yeah.
you're like,
I love it.
all we're doing is lighting up the algorithm and getting people to engage with us. So
I got Ian Bagg coming on my podcast.
I love Ian.
Monday, and we're going to do some Would You Rathers with Ian. If my brother's feeling, my brother got some crazy flu.
Yeah.
Yeah, like him and his wife were like throwing, like they're not eating. They're throwing, it's crazy. My mom said the doctors at the hospital were like, this is a crazy flu that's going around right now, and they're running out of hospital beds. I'm like, come on. And it's not COVID. My brother tested like twice. It's not COVID, but
it's whatever COVID mutated into.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
And I'm like, stay away from me, bud.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a good episode, just you and Ian.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, and I can probably make that happen if Dave is not available. I just had Eric Schwartz
Okay.
on. We're having a lot of fun. We just had our 14th episode, so we're brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it doing, audio numbers are doing well?
Yeah. It's getting there, people, and I'm getting nothing but positive feedback from the community. Like when I'm out at the clubs and they're like, dude, and a lot of people are going, is your brother a stand-up? Because, we're twins.
Right.
I'm like, no, he's just a fucking funny guy.
Yeah.
We just grew up funny, Yeah, it's a fun podcast. It's one of those things when I started doing, I was like, why didn't I do this years ago? Why did I do all these other? I had a podcast called Midlife Crisis years ago, and I had another one with Brent Morin, and the Lion's Den with Brent, and that was great. And then I tried another one with my other buddy, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And so I'm like, let's just do this one. And my brother came up with the name, and I'm like, holy shit, because we're so different but identical at the same time.
Yeah.
So the podcast is called Unidentical, and it's amazing because we are very different.
Yeah.
But the same. It's weird.
And you guys have worked together in different business ventures throughout your lives?
Yeah.
And so he was co-producing the hip-hop in the 80s?
We did music together. We did the martial arts thing together. My brother was kind of the man with the martial arts stuff. Like my dad, before he passed, was a 5th degree black belt. I got to 5th degree black belt. My brother's like a 7th degree black belt. And he trained in stuff that Don don't even know how to do,
Right.
And
What type of martial arts was it?
We did karate
and
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Oh, shit. That's very popular amongst comedians.
Oh, boy. It is now. I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the 90s and shit. But and then my brother studied this stuff. We're both retired from that now. But what was the movie with Gerard Butler, White House Down or White Houses? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where the president is.
Well, that character that Gerard Butler played is based on a real guy who's a Secret Service Special Forces guy. Well, my brother was teaching a class one day at a school, and that guy just happened to walk by.
Oh, shit.
And looks in the window and comes in, sits down, and just kind of watches my brother teach, and then they talk after the guy's like, you're great. And my name is, this is who I am. The guy had like a scar like this,
Oh, wow.
He's one of those guys that they like, we're going to drop you in the middle of this jungle to save this person, but if you get killed.
Yeah, we don't know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. He was on the Hillary Clinton, he was on both Bush's and Clinton detail.
Wow.
For, as a Secret Service agent. And well, there's this thing that he teaches, tactical shit. And my brother is now the only non-military civilian certified to teach that. To like special forces people, like that kind of shit.
It's like tier 1 operators.
Like he knows how to fucking kill you with a knife. It's weird. But so anybody on the west, not now, he's retired, but anybody on the west of the Mississippi that wanted to learn that stuff had to go to my brother. And these are guys that are like Secret Service agents and special forces guys, and my brother's just a guy, who likes to bodyboard on the weekends, and he's just the sweetest, chill guy.
Yeah.
But you're like, fuck, he knows how
kill you with
like
a
my brother.
pencil.
Like there's certain arteries that if you hit with a knife,
That's it.
instant, like bleeding out. I don't know where the fuck they are.
Right.
But
you can still kick ass yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I can defend myself if I have to, but and I'm not jumping in any jungles or anything like that. But yeah, it was one of those things that you get asked as a twin. It's like, who can win in a fight? And it's immediately, him, all day.
Right. What's the most annoying twin question that you get?
If he gets hurt, do you feel it?
That's annoying.
I have a bit about it. I say on stage, I go, like, people ask you the dumbest shit. Like, are you twins? That's a dumb question because we look very much alike.
Right.
Or no, are you brothers?
That's pretty dumb.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
But then it was like, if he gets hurt, do you feel it? And I used to say on stage, I go, no, but if you blow me, he might feel it. Why don't we run an experiment? My brother will go in the other room. You go ahead and blow me. We'll see what happens. Yeah. And then I go, my brother's such a team player because I'm like, anything yet? He's like, nah, tell her to keep going.
Nothing yet.
Yeah. But yeah, it's one we get a lot is for some reason, you guys ever fuck the same girl? Or did you ever have foursome with other twins? Like, no, what am I living in a porn? You know,
Right.
We've never dated twins. We have identical twin friends that we've known since we were in school that people were always trying to get us to hook up.
Oh, female twins.
Female twins. They were constantly trying to get Laura and Allison. And my brother and Allison dated briefly, but immediately realized we're just buddies. We're friends. Yeah. And to this day, we're still really good friends with these girls. We see them at all the functions and everything. They're our buddies, you know?
Yeah.
But never really did that twin thing. I saw this thing on YouTube where these identical twins married each other, the two brothers and the two sisters. They all married each other. Then they had kids. The kids have the exact DNA like their brothers and sisters.
Oh, but they're cousins.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Were they born similar times, like close in age?
Yeah. Like my youngest son and my brother's oldest daughter, they're 17 days apart. And both of them have Latin moms. And they look more like fraternal twin brother and sister than they do cousins.
But the twin thing skips, it's every other generation. Is that correct? Or is that a myth?
There's no myth. It's fraternal twins is genetic. Like I've got friends that have like multiple sets of twins because it just runs in their fucking family. Identical twins is completely random because you're in one egg.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a random thing. Like my brother and I have a big family. We have a lot of cousins. We're the only twins, but we're identical. So it was just a random thing. But like a friend of mine, she literally has 2 sets of twins because it runs in the fucking family.
Wow. Yeah. 2 sets. That's nuts. Yep. So when you think of twins, you think of identical twins, but it's more common to be fraternal.
Also, there's identical twins, and then there's a thing called mirror twins, which is like a real trippy thing. Me and my brother were mirror twins, but not all the way. But in a way. In other words, our hairlines, in other words, it looks like we're looking in a mirror at each other. So everything's opposite. Right. Like I have here, this is it's on this side for my brother. Shit. That whatever slant my hairline is at, it goes the other way for my brother. We're both right-handed. However, growing up, my brother did everything goofy foot. Like he skateboarded like he was a lefty. He surfed like he was a lefty. It was a trip. So yeah, there's a mirror twin.
I've never heard of that before. Yeah, that's crazy.
You ever hear those? You know, Supernova, the comedy thing. That property is owned by 2 brothers. They're the Houston brothers, and they own a bunch of badass like speakeasy clubs in LA and all over the country. They're mirror twins, like legit mirror twins. Yeah, yeah. And you look at them, and you're like, holy shit, they're identical, but one's right-handed, one's left-handed. It's trippy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Supernova turned into the Rec Room, right?
No, Rec Room's in Huntington Beach. The Bourbon Room.
The Bourbon Room.
And Supernova is not the name of the show. It's the name of the venue.
Right. It was the outdoor courthouse.
Yeah.
Not courthouse, but courtyard.
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
they shut it
I don't
down.
know if you've heard of the club No Vacancy.
Yeah.
And you go in there and it's like a speakeasy.
The refrigerator.
That's the same guys on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool spots. But the refrigerator one's the 80s one on 90. It's in Koreatown. And you go into the soda machine and you're in this like 80s. It's all 80s themed with 80s band and 80s decor. It's really fucking cool.
Right. What's the one in Hollywood then? That's the
No Vacancy, and then
going through like the garage kind of.
There's one where you go into this bedroom and there's like this hot girl on a bed telling you all the rules, and then the bed goes and then there's stairs and you're in this fucking amazing club. Yeah.
I haven't been to that one yet.
One of them, I can't remember. My wife loves it. One of them has a cigar lounge where you could smoke cigars.
Oh,
there.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of good ones. But yeah, those guys are mirror twins.
We're always on the hunt for a good cigar.
Good cigar, yeah.
Drew recently discovered that if you ask nicely, a lot of clubs will let you smoke in the green room.
And then if you tour with Russell, that you don't even have to ask. They just know it's going to happen. And we all have cigars in the green room, and it's so fucking cool. Yeah, I'm a big cigar guy. Do you know, oh God, what's his name? Rocky Dale Davis?
Yeah.
Rocky is a big cigar guy. He turned me on to an amazing cigar. It's kind of pricey. It's called an Atabay. Great cigar.
Yeah.
This motherfucker told me when we were in Vegas last time that he smokes 9 cigars a day.
Rocky?
That's what he told me.
That's a lot of cigars.
That's a lot, dude. I don't even smoke 9 a week.
Right.
I'll maybe have 1 a week.
Right.
But I love having cigars with friends. You know, and you know the V Cut right next to the Improv on Melrose.
I haven't been in there, but I know.
Great little spot.
Yeah.
I have cigars there all the time.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do late night, there's State Social on Sunset. They have a cigar bar. See, there's a difference between a cigar lounge and a cigar bar.
Right.
Lounges are going to close at 10 o'clock. The cigar bar is going to stay up until 2 a.m. because you can drink as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
State's famous for their onesie locking bathrooms on for other reasons.
Yeah.
So I have some friends that like to go there a lot.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Jay Davis used to run a show there up in the attic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just did Jay Davis's Wednesday night show last night at the Cannabis Cafe there on La Brea. Cool spot.
Oh right, where they serve like everything's got weed in it.
Well,
or you can smoke weed.
You
there.
could smoke weed there, and it's such an interesting place. It's beautiful. First of all, great food, amazing chef. I met the owner last night, David. He's a great dude. And this place, I went there and not having any idea what I was getting into because I've done weed shows that are at weed shops, and it's just a weed show.
Yeah.
This was a fucking venue.
Yeah.
Beautiful inside and out, but it's on a city line. Half the room is in LA and half the room is in West Hollywood. So you can drink out here, but you can't bring the drinks inside. And over here you could smoke weed, but you can't smoke weed on this side of the room because it's
stupid.
2 different zoning laws.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty interesting place, but it was a fun show.
It's like we have a weed shop on every corner, but then people in Louisiana are in jail for marijuana.
Right. Exactly.
It's so stupid.
It's nuts. I remember when it first got legalized. One of my best friends, he lives in New Jersey. He's from out there. We met like back in the Vine days. I don't know how we met, but he's just a good dude. I'll never forget. He came out to visit me once, and I took him to Medman. And he walks in, and we're there, and I'm used to it by this time.
Yeah.
And then we walk out, and he's just like walks out, and he's got this look on his face, and he's got his bag in his hand and his credit card in one hand. I go, and he's looking at me like this. I go, what? He goes, I just bought weed with a credit card.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah. So
it's so casual for us. And then we go on the road and we're like, hey, where's the weed store at? And they're like, it's illegal here. You're like,
yeah, what are you talking about? And you can get arrested walking down the street smoking it. We're here, you're just like,
but we can't have vapes.
Dude, one of the reasons my oldest son is living with me is because of that. My son opened with a buddy of his the largest vape shop in the country. It's called Vape City, Arkansas. He was living in Arkansas and running this beautiful big vape shop, and then it got hit with that bad press because people were selling bullshit with the essential oils that were killing people.
Yeah, and
they did this whole thing where they tried educating people on the right kind to buy, blah blah. Still put him out of business. Then he had to move back home.
Did they ban it in Arkansas as well, or just the bad press?
Just bad press put him out of business.
Yeah,
and like anything flavored, like here is not. Like one of my favorite cigars, and a lot of cigar people give me shit for this, but there's a cigar brand called Acid, and it's my favorite cigar. It's just something about it. I don't know why. It's called an Acid Cuba Cuba, but it's technically a flavored cigar, so they don't sell them here anymore.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm in Vegas, I buy them, and I'm just flying back home.
Yeah, I was trying to get vapes on the road, and then eventually it just became too much of a hassle. I had to start smoking cigarettes again.
Oh, rough.
I feel like shit now, so I'm back on.
Well, you know, Josh Adam Myers' story with that.
With vapes?
Cigarettes and vaping and all that, he ended up almost losing his vocal cords.
Really?
And he stopped all that shit, I think. I don't know if he's still vaping or not, but I know that cigarettes was like a big problem. But he was one of the guys I would have cigars with. Yeah. Me and Josh would have cigars together. I've had cigars with, dude, I have a picture and I can't find it anywhere. I think it might be on an old phone of my son and Bill Burr having a cigar at V-Cut next to the Improv.
That's cool.
And I was like, they didn't know I took the picture because they were just chilling, watching the TV, and we're all having cigars. And I kind of took a snapshot. I'm like, that's a dope picture.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't fucking find it.
I was trying to get one that's like way longer than everyone else's because I smoked for 25 years. So when I'm having a cigar, I'm fucking puffing on that thing.
Yeah.
I'm always worried that it's going to go out. It's not. I'm just new to cigars.
There's a company that makes these giant fucking cigars, and there's a show in Vegas called The Dirty at 12:30. Are you familiar?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's award-winning, like voted the best local show in Vegas. It's always at least 400 people in the audience. It's great. It's a free show. Ralphie May started. It was Ralphie May's show.
Okay.
And his best friend Gabe Lopez kept it going after he passed. And I do that show. I headline it pretty much whenever I'm in Vegas, but it's at 12:30. But we do what we call Cigar Club at 10:30. And we all get together and people bring their cigars. And the guy that Russell gets most of his cigars from is a buddy of mine now. His partner's based out there, and we're buddies now. And he always gives me great cigars. And this guy showed up with the biggest fucking cigar I've ever seen. I'm like, are you going to smoke that? He goes, the whole thing?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's a huge cigar. And then you do the competitions to see whose ash stays longest.
Right.
And you try not to let it fall on your clothes or whatever. But yeah, I love that shit. It's such a...
I can't stand having the ash on there. It's like... the years of smoking, I'm like, I gotta get rid of this shit. I gotta get it out.
And you just turn it. But yeah, it's one of those bonding things. I used to do a bit about it. I was like, yeah, man, what's the manliest thing we could do? Let's all get together and suck on what looks like a bunch of black dicks.
Yeah, the first time I had a cigar, I threw up within the first couple.
Did you
puffs.
inhale?
I inhaled.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, fucking cigars are not for me. And then I've been listening to all these podcasts, and Burt Kreischer talks about cigars and all this shit. And like I've seen Joe Rogan smoking them on his show. And
It's a head high and it's a tasting.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Chappelle Lacey calls me. You know Chappelle Lacey?
Yeah.
Chappelle Lacey goes, man, how the fuck you smoke these cigars? Like, what are you talking about? He goes, I threw up. And I go, Chappelle, did you inhale it? He goes, of course. I go, you don't inhale it. And he starts, what the fuck is the point?
Right. Yeah. The urge to inhale is super strong after smoking for so long.
It's a good partner with drinks. Like you take a puff, hold it in your mouth, blow it out, take a sip. I'll never forget the first time I really learned about cigars. Dalia and I were in Atlanta when the Atlanta Improv was still there. And the guy that owned the Atlanta Improv, he owned the whole little thing that it was in. There was restaurants everywhere. And downstairs was this spot called, is it Red Door Cigars? Anyways, it's an old school phone booth on the wall.
Yeah.
And if you know the number, deet-doot-doot-deet, the back of the phone booth opens up and you're in one of the dopest cigar lounges you've ever seen with the drinks.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the guy told me, he was, I'm going to give you this cigar with this drink. I'll remember, only thing I remember is that the name, because you understand, it was like 10 years ago. The name of the drink was a horse neck or something like that. And he goes, taste the drink now. And I'm like, well, he goes, not bad. I go, he goes, yeah, it doesn't taste great. Now, puff the cigar, hold it in your mouth for like 3 seconds, blow it, and then taste the drink. Huge difference. It tasted like some chocolate dessert.
Oh, shit.
But it was the way this guy paired the cigar with the drink. And I was like, damn, I got to learn more.
Yeah.
You know,
people like that blow my mind. That are just like, oh, if I do this with this, like chefs, they always blow my mind. Where they're like, oh, I put cucumbers on some salmon, and it's
right.
What I don't know anything about chefs, but like
that guy blew my mind. Because I used to have a cigar here and there, and I liked it, but I was like, oh, this is social. But then I'm like, oh, there's like an art almost to it. So I ended up going like looking at Cigar Aficionado magazine and like how to burn it right, how to cut it right, and how to get the ash off without ruining the cigar. Like I learned all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How to what they call toasting it first before you light it. Like you take the cigar and you kind of toast the end of it, and then you puff light it and then turn around and blow on the end where it turns really red, and that thing will stay lit for the whole time you're smoking it without you needing to relight. It's like crazy. A whole thing that I was learning, Yeah.
People that are like professional, super level professional at things. Oh man, they always blow my mind. I always want to see the best guy do something. Yeah.
And there's guys, man, like Russell, dude. He did a big, huge party for his 50th birthday at his house, and he had actual guys rolling cigars on site.
I heard about that.
And it was like, these are great cigars. And they would dip them in like honey, and then you smoke it. It's like, come on. Yeah. It's awesome.
I saw a guy, I think it was Billions, and I think it was the police commissioner who was talking to Paul Giamatti, and he has a cigar, he takes his whiskey, dunks the end of the cigar in it, and he licks it, and then he lights it. I'm like, I gotta fucking try that.
That's some crazy shit, dude. Yeah. It's great. It's it's not the best for you.
No, it's better than cigarettes.
It might be why I have high blood pressure.
I have high blood pressure too, but mine is from my sleep apnea.
Okay. So I was just drinking too much. Yeah. Drinking too much and eating the wrong stuff, and I got scared straight. Dude, I didn't know I had because I never had high blood pressure. I was always 120 over 80, boom, always. And then recently I went to a chiropractor and they took my blood pressure, and the guy's like, I'm not adjusting you. I go, why? He goes, your blood pressure you're at heart attack stroke level. They call it hypertension crisis. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? He goes, if I adjust you right now, you could have a stroke and die on my table. I'm like, you're no fun. Right. Then I get in the car and I immediately call my wife. I go, this is happening. And we have a really dear friend. Her name's Monica. She's an ER nurse and a traveling nurse. And my wife immediately goes, call Monica, tell her. And Monica was like, all right, here's what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. So now I have to do my own blood pressure twice a day to make sure it's at a steady place and like that. But it was fucking up there.
What was it?
170 and then 110 or something like that.
I've been walking around at 185 over 140 for like the last 5 years.
My neighbor was like at 200 over something. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But they're like, yeah, but you've always had good. And everybody was like, gotta lose weight. Gotta stop eating so much sugar and salt and chill out on the drinking. Like I went cold turkey on the drinking for like a couple months.
Did it just, yeah.
But then I had to learn I can have a drink. I just don't need to have 7.
Right.
And that's what I was doing, especially on the road, dude. And you're headlining, and everything's free.
Yeah.
And then you frequent these clubs so much that they know your drink, so you get in the green room and it's waiting for you.
Yeah.
You know.
And then after 3 or 4 of them, those nachos look pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And I was one of those guys that was like, yeah, I'll do another shot of Patron. And I could handle easily 6 shots of Patron and a fucking vodka soda. Or an old fashioned. Like that's how I was drinking. From before I was 35, I never drank.
Oh, really?
Wasn't a drinker in my 20s. Didn't party drink in high school. None of that. I didn't start drinking until stand up. Because it's also a social thing. Let's meet for drinks. Let's meet for this. And then you have one, and then you're like, oh, that's not too bad. And then it was like, yeah, bring like 6 more. And then the problem was I have arthritis pretty bad. And then I started doing shots at home to try to get myself to sleep. And that's when my wife was like, this is not good. And so, yeah, none of that. Don't drink at home anymore. I have a lot of full bottles at home. I just got, I went to Jason Momoa's release party for his new vodka. I got invited to that.
Nice.
And he gave me a bottle of his vodka. And I'm like, I want to crack it open, but I can't.
I have a ton of booze at home that I'll never touch because it's all booze commercials that I've worked on.
Oh, okay.
So I just got a wall, like a trophy wall of things I've worked on. I don't even look at it like booze. It's like, oh, that's just a thing.
Yeah. Decoration.
But then if I have booze in the fridge, it's not going to stay there. So I don't keep booze at the house. I'm like, oh, well, it's 2 beers.
We have like a wine shelf and with our booze, but
I also live next to a bar and it's like Cheers. You walk in there, everybody knows your name kind of shit. So
that's what I love about the Hollywood Improv. That's the vibe I get at the Hollywood Improv.
I agree. I think it's the best run club in Hollywood.
And it's the best hang. Comedy Store's fun. It's got that outdoor bar, but there's something about the Improv that you walk in, Jason, and it's like, I love Julie. She's the young lady that's bartending there all the time. She's the best. But yeah, your story about when you went to the cellar. Same thing happened with me at the Improv.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did a spot on I did a spot on a show, my first time ever doing it, and then I went back the following Friday just to hang out, and I kind of was standing out front like, am I allowed to just walk in? You don't know when you're new. And the assistant manager at the time comes up and she goes, oh my God, you were here Saturday night. You're Jason. I go, yeah. And I'm looking at this club. There's a line down the street and around the corner to get in, and this was years ago when there was a show there called Refried Fridays, and it was the most packed show out there. It was Comedy Juice on Wednesdays was the best, and Refried Fridays on Fridays, always packed. And I'm looking, I'm like, damn, this is crazy. I go, what show? I said to her, what show is this? She goes, oh, it's Refried Friday. She goes, I think I can get you a spot. Just like when you said there, when the girl said, I think I can get you a spot.
Yeah.
And I go, really? She goes, yeah. She got me a 5-minute guest spot, and the host was a substitute. A substitute host, and he said, I'm going to tell the guy that runs this show about you. Come next week. Went next week, got another spot.
Nice.
And then that's how I got into the Improv. And I was brand new. And basically from then on, I was on that Friday show, either hosting it or doing a spot almost every week. They loved me.
Yeah.
And then the booker's assistant saw me, who at the time, the booker's assistant was Emily LaFord, who's the booker of the Comedy Store. She was the booker's assistant at the Improv years ago. She sees me, tells her boss. That's how I got the Patrice O'Neill thing. That's how I got So it's just crazy. I tell so many people it's being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Being at the right place at the right time, and then when you're given the opportunity, deliver.
Yeah,
Be ready.
I was showing up to the Improv for Mark Hayes hosted shows, which is Mark Hayes and Friends.
Yeah.
So he would invite me to shoot, not clear it with the club. So then he had one, and then I think Louis was running his hour like right after Mark, and the club had a paid photographer in the room. So I'm shooting there. The other photographer's cool. She's like, you can shoot. I don't give a shit. I'm getting paid by the club, whether you're here or not.
Right.
And then the manager, I think it's Rita.
Manager, booker,
yeah.
GM kind of thing.
She comes up and she goes, you can't be here. And I'm like, all right, no problem. I get it. Louis in the room. Like, I fucking totally get it. I DM the club the next day. And I'm like, I've been shooting at your club for 4 years. How do we set this up so that I have like permission and I know I can shoot? I'm tired of getting kicked out of the club.
Oh, they kick you straight out of the club or just the showroom?
Get out.
Whoa.
Yeah. So she's like, you just got to go. And I'm like, fine, no problem. It's your place. I know who you are. I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
So DM the club. They hit me right back. They go, we know exactly who you are. What's your email? I send them my email. Ding. They send me all the start paperwork, and they put me on staff, and they started paying me right away.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, dude, this is fucking great. So when
That's
I walked
the
in there,
easiest job interview I've ever had.
yeah. I mean, I worked for them for free for 4 years. So
Wow.
And then the first night that I went there, they put on the little staff briefing. They were like, this photographer, it's his first day. He used to shoot for this guy, and this guy. Be very nice to me. So every staff member was like, hey, can I get you anything? Are you okay? I'm like, God damn, this is friendly around here.
That's awesome.
And they were like, yeah, we were told to treat you nice tonight. I was like,
We don't like you, but we were told.
yeah, they've shit on me ever since.
They're all actors.
yeah. But I absolutely love the improv. It's
the best. Rita's great. Rita's always been good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, I have a show in the lab on the 6th that I'm hoping maybe she's around to check me out.
Oh, whose show is it?
It's Rocky Roberts' show. He's normally doing sound over there.
Okay.
In the main room.
And the rain room guy. Yeah.
He's the main room sound guy, but he has a show called House Party.
Nice.
And it's me, Adam Ray, Amir K.
That room, man, the lab.
Yeah.
People hate it, and I fucking love it.
I love it too.
I don't know what it is, but I love that little room.
The
man.
rumor is they're going to rip the bar out and put the stage back where it used to be.
No shit. Because back when I started, it was just a little black box theater. There was no bar, nothing.
Right.
It was literally an empty room with like curtains hung up on the side and like desk chairs everywhere. It was a black box theater.
Yeah.
And then they did this weird thing years ago where they did this whole remodel in the club and made it look like some Miami place, and they had this other restaurant out front that it just didn't work, and they went back to the old way of being in the improv, and then they put a stage in there and stuff. But yeah, it's gone through some shit.
That green room for the lab is so much better than the green room for the main room.
Yeah, the upstairs with the TV and all that stuff, because that used to just be offices.
Yeah.
For a while they had a podcast studio up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jim, when he left our studio, Jim Jeffries did his podcast from there for a little while.
Oh, okay.
And then they remodeled it again, and now it's nicer again.
Yeah.
It just used to be a room with a bunch of chairs in it.
What a trippy green room in the main room, though, right? With the hidden bookshelf and all that.
Right. There's a sign, because you have to, if you don't know, if you're in the green room of the main room at the Hollywood Improv, you have to duck from one room to another.
Watch your head.
And they have a sign, and it just has a duck on it.
Yeah.
I love that. I think
it's
so
weird
smart.
because there's a green room that looks like a green room. Sofa, couch, TV, little cooler. It's great. But then there's a bookshelf. But that bookshelf is a secret door. It opens up into another green room. But as soon as you walk through there's this beam that's literally here that you have to duck under. And then in there is another nice couch with a big TV.
That's where everybody wants to be.
And there's the stairs. What I like, because they never had that before, was you can get to the stage from there.
Right.
From that,
you couldn't do that before.
No. You just walk through the middle of the room up onto the stage.
Oh, so
those stairs weren't even there.
Really?
No.
Where the Evening at the Improv Neon is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Those stairs have been there since I started coming around. That predates me.
Those stairs weren't there, and then the upstairs thing where the piano is upstairs. That's the original piano.
Yeah.
They threw a little birthday party for me and my brother there one year when my kids were still really young. It was kind of cool. I still have pictures from it.
Wow.
I was still taller than my kids.
Was that upstairs bar open?
No, it wasn't a bar. It was like a just a bunch of tables and chairs.
Yeah, they're ripping that out.
That bar upstairs is the original bar from downstairs.
No shit.
Yes, and if you look closely at that bar, there's signatures. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
My signature's on there.
No shit.
So if they do anything, I hope they don't fucking destroy that bar.
Right.
Because it's
legendary.
Yeah, that's like I always say, if the Shore family ever decides to sell the Comedy Store, I'm going to go get my name, that portion of the wall with my name on it, and take it home.
Oh man, you probably won't be the only one.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That would be tough, cutting everybody's name out.
Oh, it would be heartbreaking. I don't know if the city would let them even do that, because I don't know this at all, but I guarantee they've been offered just a mint for that land, because you see the shit that's going up around it.
Yeah, it's all hundreds of millions of dollar hotels. Yeah, I mean, but they're not hurting.
It's because of Paulie that it's still there. He saved it, from what I understand.
It won't be there forever, and they're running out of room on the wall. And I don't know if I give a shit. Like I think it used to mean a lot more. Like
I was the first.
I'm not saying that your name is different. There. Yeah,
it's different. Right. I was the first class to be put on the front wall.
Oh, facing the street.
Facing the street, not the upper, because that's all legends and shit. But the year before, Brent Morandoli and all those guys, Santino and Adam, they all got their names on it. It's in the back, facing the back parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. I'm at JFL. I couldn't go to the names night because I was doing JFL.
Wow, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. So my brother and my son went.
That's funny.
And took pictures with it and stuff. And D'Elia calls me. He goes, what the fuck? I go, what? He goes, your name's on the front? Oh, fuck that. I'm complaining, like fucking with me, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. And then to be part of Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Because I did a whole episode of my love of the history of Sunset, you know, and I mean, also that room was Ciro's. Mm-hmm. It's where fucking Sinatra and the fucking Rat Pack and all those guys performed, you know, and to be on, but to have your name on a building on Sunset and it's not graffiti,
right?
You know,
yeah.
And I've watched several movies that there's shots of the Comedy Store, The Good Guys, Ryan Gosling, and remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
And what's his name's character? Russell Crowe. His apartment was on top of the Comedy Store, and there's a opening scene where they pan down to the store, and I'm like, "There's my name." So now I tell people I'm in that movie.
You are.
That's my credit.
Yeah, yeah. That's your claim to fame.
Yeah.
That I mean, it with the inception of the mothership and all the shit going down in Austin,
Right.
it just feels like a temporary shift of
Yeah.
where the attention has gone.
Yeah.
If I ever get to the point where I have the honor of having my name on the wall, that would be super awesome.
Yeah.
But I know some guys that they didn't go through the program, and now they're too big to start going through.
Joe Coy was never a Comedy Store guy.
Yeah.
Dane Cook never was. He started doing some spots at the store within recent history, but he was never a store guy. And Joe Coy came up through the Laugh Factory and like in LA. So there's a lot of guys out there that were just. I mean, I've sat and talked with legends that were like, "Yeah, I never went there."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, it's." There's something about it though, man. It's not that way now. But there was something magical about it when I first started because it was still kind of a shithole. It was one of those on a weekend. There's like homeless guys in there, you know, and we referred to it as our pirate ship because we would go up and just now when I go up in the OR or the main room, I'm bringing it because it's sold out and it ain't cheap.
Nope.
And we're up there bringing it. A game. We used to go up and just fuck around.
Yeah.
I went up one night and did a thick accent. Ambiguous accent, never addressed it, just did my entire set with a really thick accent, talking about how this is my first time doing comedy. Yeah. One night, Brent Morin went up one night and laid down his entire set. And one night I went up and Brent came on stage with me. We're heckling. It was just our playground and a workout spot.
Around. Yeah.
And then to watch Adam Egget did a lot.
He did.
He was the change at the club. And, you know, it affected me negatively in a lot of ways. And not so. So basically, before Adam Egget came along, I was one of the guys. Like I was there multiple times a week. My name was on the marquee several times a month. I was one of the guys. And when the guy that was there got fired, I was like, well, I'm totally fine. I remember standing in the parking lot with Eliza Schlesinger, and she's like, "This is gonna be weird." I go, well, I'm pretty sure I'm fine. I'm in here. And she's like, "Yeah, you should, dude." Adam Egget took over the first month. He didn't book me. Like from being the guy to going, "Can I get a spot?" It was weird.
Right.
And I hit him up. He's like, "Oh, you gotta understand. There's a lot of spots." And I'm like, "No, I'm not new. You're not holding something away from me. You're taking something away from me. You're not." And I think some other people may have talked to him because I started getting booked. I got booked under Adam probably every week, if not every other week, but they were not good spots.
Oof.
It was the midnight spot. It was the 12:30 spot when everybody left because Bill Burr and all those guys already went up. Rogan already went up, so people just walked out. I was the comedian that, as I'm walking on stage, I'm like dodging all the people trying to leave the room.
Oh, shit.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that was rough for me. And, you know, and then Bobby Lee told me years ago, he's like, "Jason, everything changes. You're going to be fine." And sure enough, it changed again, and I'm there all the fucking time, prime spots, and I cannot complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain. I'm in the main room this weekend. I'm in the main room Saturday night.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I can't complain. So, but it's a rocky road, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But I would be sad to see it go. It's got so much history on that side of the fucking city, and
I have saved that club for last. I won't photograph it.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it for comedy, and I happen to know Emily very well from having done a special for Epics or something. She was the talent booker it was the first job back from Pandy after lockdown. I was like,
Right.
"We're going to work. We're going to do this 25 comedian special." So that's how I met her. So, and we've stayed in touch. And she's like, "When you're ready, let me know." So after this run with Drew, and
You're gonna hit her up?
Yeah, I'm going to hit her up and be like, "I'm ready."
Nice.
and just see what happens.
Yeah, it's a spot, dude. It's a fucking. It still feels. I didn't perform there for almost a year after the pandemic, and it felt weird. And I didn't. It was just like some weirdness happened with the whole Dalia thing, and I got lumped in and da 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 da. And one day they just started booking me again. I was afraid to go there. I felt awkward. It was like they don't love me anymore. And I'm like, now what? This is my home club. Now what? And Brent Morin one night said, dude, just come with me. Just come with me. And I go, okay. So I show up with Brent, and I'm just sitting in the back hallway feeling out of place because it used to be home, and I feel like I'm at a party that I wasn't invited to. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
And Emily comes running out of the main room right up to me. She goes, can you go up? Frank canceled. And I go, like no time went by. And I go, yeah. She goes, great. And I went up and I murdered. And since that night, I'm back. Like regularly back. So you never know.
Yeah.
You just never know, you know?
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's weird. It's like right place, right time kind of shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're glad you went back with Brent.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love that room. And when you get main room spots, that's good payday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they pay different. You get regular spot pay in the OR, but they share the ticket sales with the comics in the main room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that new?
No,
They've always done that.
Yeah, I think they've always done that. Yeah, I think Mitzi. I think I heard that Mitzi did that in honor of when it was Ciro's, because they would do that or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, it's great. So if that room sells out, you're making a good little chunk of change.
Really?
Yeah, for like a fucking 15, 20-minute spot.
Yeah, because it holds 300 or 400 or 500. Those tickets ain't cheap.
And they've been consistently selling out.
Yeah.
So
I have a buddy that just recently discovered that you can sit in Mitzi's booth, and he'll pay whatever it takes.
yeah,
If he's going to watch a main room spot,
yeah,
he's paying the money.
yeah.
And then I had a door guy tell me that the one that they sell as Mitzi's booth is actually the one in front of it. They're not letting anybody actually sit in Mitzi's booth. And I told him that, and he's like, I don't give a shit. I want to sit over there.
That's kind of one of the things I love about what Joe did over there in Austin with the mothership. He's got a bar. It's dedicated. It's called Mitzi's Bar. And it looks like it should be in the Comedy Store. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I love that. I love those kind of like little shout outs, little nods, you know?
Have you been there? Yeah.
I heard it's incredible.
Yeah.
I heard it's not easy to get in.
It's not, even if you
Are a very working comic.
That's right.
I heard it's like, wait here, we'll see, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So
You probably heard the same thing I heard from the same person.
Yeah, I can't remember who I heard it from, honestly, but it's one of those things where, like, if I get the opportunity, I'm going to call ahead. I'm going to make sure it's a scheduled thing and they know I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good buddies with Hinchcliffe. Tony's one of those guys, like, if you're ever in Austin, come do the fucking show. Come do, Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And he's just been great about that. But yeah, I haven't been to it yet. Last time I was in Austin, it wasn't open yet. I was doing the Vulcan.
Yeah. I was in Austin last August for the F1 race. It wasn't open yet. We went and looked for it, but
It was some kind of brewery or something before it, but it's right there in the main area. But apparently it's just, from what I've seen online, it looks fucking awesome.
oh yeah.
But it's one of those, like, really, like, yo, Velvet Rope, who are you?
Right.
Sorry, but we didn't know you were, like, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And then I heard, don't hang out in the green room. I've heard things like, yeah, Joe doesn't want a bunch of people in the green room if he's here, kind of a thing. So I don't know.
I've heard that the bartender will ask you who you are in Mitzi's room. We'll go, am I supposed to know who you are?
Is he a
I'm
comic?
like, no, the bartender, which is odd that the bartender in Mitzi's bar is not a comic, but maybe brush up on, like, who the top 100 guys in the world are.
Yo, did you hear about Bobby Lee at the Ice House recently?
No.
He talked about it on Theo's pod.
Yeah.
Bro. So the Ice House got bought out by the Buss family, who owns the Lakers. And there were a few remaining people working there that were in the old Ice. Because the Ice House, if you know anything, well, one of the things about the Ice House is the room was so fucking good that a lot of bookers for late night wouldn't accept a tape from it because it was just a no-brainer. It was going to be great, you know? So
crowds are that hot.
The crowds were hot. The room was incredible. And then the Buss family bought it from Bob Fisher and did a big remodel. It's all corporate-y looking now.
Yeah.
And they had a few people working there that were in the old days, and then they just fired them. So not a single person in comedy is running a comedy club. They're all, the girl booking used to run the Sparks WNBA team. Like, she's not a Comedy World person, but she's the booker.
Okay.
Bobby's booked. Bobby fucking Lee. So if you know anything about comedy, you know who the fuck he is,
obviously.
Also, you can't miss him.
Right.
He's got a look, you know. And I mean, my wife is a fan of him because he was on Sex and the City. Like, he's huge, you know. Yeah. So he shows up and they don't know who the fuck he is at the door. Who are you? Bobby's like, can you let me in? There was like a side gate thing. They're like, we only let comedians in through here. Bro, it was like a mess.
Yeah.
Then he talks about it on a pod and says, I'm never going back.
On the number 5 podcast in the world.
Says, I'm never going back. Tells the story. He says, I didn't want to talk about this, but I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm glad he did it. Because if you're in the fucking business of comedy, know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
Also, how hard is it to have your staff who's in charge of letting people in have pictures of the goddamn comedians that are on the show, whether they know comedy or not? You know how to look at it. It's just retarded. So, sorry, politically incorrect. It's not smart. But Bobby says, I'm never going back. Never going back. The next day, the owner, boss, called him, apologized, begged him, please come back. So he's going to, but it's like, you got to fix something. Yeah. I mean, the guy who managed this, the manager of the place, knows not. He's a restaurant manager. He knows nothing about comedy.
It'll go under. It won't turn a profit, and then they'll sell it off the portfolio. They probably just need a tax dump for the Lakers anyway.
Oh man, you should have seen you should see what they did to the place.
I heard it's got like boxes and VIP rooms and crazy.
Bro, there's a
shit.
VIP room in the back of the main room with a 2-way mirror, so we can't see in. It's not for the comedians. It's like a full beautiful lounge with a cigar humidor. It's not for us. We have a little closet green room on the side. This is for his VIP customers. We can't even walk through it. It's very insulting.
So is that a room where, I was just talking about this with somebody last week, is that a room where people can watch the show but still talk?
Yep.
And not bother the comedian?
Yeah. And it's set up weird. They took all the carpeting out, so it's hard floors.
Oh, Jesus.
And then there's all these like partition things between each row, so the sound is bouncing everywhere. It's all echoey.
Yeah.
And then there's this big sign over that window facing the stage that says, come laugh with us. And I'm like, what the fuck is that sign for? You can't see it and you're in the audience because it's behind you. It's just such a weird setup.
Yeah.
And that the entrance used to be through the alley. It was so cool, like West Side. You go through the alley. It was such a great place, man. And that place had a place in my heart because back when it was just a music venue, my dad was in the house band.
Oh shit!
And so I got to bring my mom there 40 years later when I headlined it, and it was awesome. And now it's not that club. They put the entrance on the street now, and you feel like you're walking into like an AMC movie theater. It's weird.
Or
very
Flappers.
corporate-y. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Jason, I could talk to you.
It's fun, man.
Forever.
I'm glad we know each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, how come I don't know you?
I get that a lot.
I love it.
But we are running up on 2 hours.
Fuck yeah.
We
didn't get to anything.
We didn't. This might be a part 1 and part 2.
Let's go.
We'll see. Or I'll just cut out some of the name droppy stuff that I did.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll get down to like an hour and a half probably.
I was wondering how many times you're going to drop Barack Obama like that, dude. That was so many.
Yeah. Well, he's a good friend.
Good buddy.
Yeah.
Good buddy.
Let's plug everything.
Let's do it.
Where can we find you? New pod, all that stuff.
Okay. Social media. I'm on Instagram. It's just at Jason Collings, JasonCollings. This is the same on TikTok. On Facebook, I believe it's comedian Jason Collings on Facebook. I'm on all that shit. Just Google Jason Collings and it all comes up. Also, I have a podcast with my twin brother, David Collings. It's called Unidentical. You could catch it Amazon. What do you call it? The Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you download the audio. It's everywhere. And we also are on YouTube, Unidentical Pod. And of course, I have my own YouTube channel, the Mr. Jason Collings Show.
Right.
And so check it out. I do have an episode. I do have a special coming out. And I believe that Amazon's the home. We're just waiting to hear what the date is.
No date yet.
No date yet.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. But mainly listen and watch Unidentical.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing I'm doing right now. I love it. And it's with my brother, and we have a great time.
Yeah. I listened to 2 episodes this morning. I can verify that it's very good.
Cool.
Very interesting. Jason, thanks for doing the show.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
It's a blast.
Real quick, if you can think of it off the top of your head, what is the best meal you've ever had in your whole life?
I was in India with Russell Peters, and we were staying at a palace. We were staying at this palace, and I'm not a big fan of buffets.
Okay.
But holy shit, this buffet was incredible. I just wanted to keep going. The only problem with it was it tasted amazing. Did not want to stay in my body for very long at all.
Yeah.
That was one. It's so hard to name one. I think people that have one favorite thing are psychos. Like I have one favorite song. I have one favorite artist. I think that's weird.
Yeah.
But another one is I'm not a seafood guy or a fish guy.
Okay.
Don't do it. Cape Town, South Africa.
Okay.
Russell Peters said, I know you're not, but trust me, eat this. It was so goddamn good. I felt like I was eating really good chicken. And it didn't smell cunty, as Russell used to say. Right. You know, and it was just amazing. So overseas eating is just, that stuff over there is, it's another level.
Yeah, it's different.
But again, there's amazing places at home. You ever have the ultimate cheeseburger from Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
It's one of the best burgers I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. I mean, Jack in the Box, people sleep on Jack in the Box.
Yo, don't sleep on them curly fries.
After 9 p.m., you get that $6 box.
Boom.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg has his box too. That Snoop Dogg has a meal.
Yeah.
There.
He stopped smoking weed.
I think he was fucking with us.
Oh, really?
Because he posted a game of him smoking. When he kept saying, I'm going smokeless, he said, I'm going to stop smoking. A few days later, he did an ad where he was plugging a smokeless barbecue.
Yeah, he got us. He
us.
got me.
Yes, I think he got us.
Jason, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time on the Isaac Abrams Show.
This show's a piece of shit.